Hello there, chat. How's everybody doing? Hello, Liza, Angel, Tyro. How is everybody? Let's see. Okay. Alrighty. Looks like Twitch is saying we're excellent. Streamlabs is running optimally. Chat is scrolling and the game is running, so looks like we're good to go. It does, Angel. Thanks to Liza. You can thank Liza for those. Let's see. Also, if my face cam looks a little funky, looks a little different than you're used to, don't worry about it. It's not your end. It's actually on mine. I got a Cindy got me a new gift for the studio for Christmas. It's an Elgato key light, and I've been playing with it, trying to get it to get as optimally as possible. And I'm trying to see if it, if I can get it to improve things. So if it looks a little different, then that's why. My head is shiny. It always is. I can't help that. Alright, so with that said, and everything out of the way, we're going to go ahead and get this party started by saying, greetings and salutations to you. My name is Featherhoof, and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker, where we are still in the throes of the story, the main story. We just finished the Katisis Hyperborea, the latest dungeon. What was it, level 87 dungeon? What was it? Yeah, 87 dungeon, so we're getting there. Yeah, I'm gonna hazard a guess at like 2 more dungeons. Like a level 89 and a level 90, and then like 2 level 90 dungeons that are optional, like post-game stuff. So I'm gonna guess 4 more dungeons in total for this expansion, and maybe 1 or 2 more trials. That's my guess. But the story as such is we've gone and seems we've gone back in time and created quite a few paradoxical moments. It's sort of like, how are we going to get out of this without creating a paradox? Well, Fandaniel, he figured that out, because he's all evil and erased everyone's brains. So they don't remember I was here. Except for Fanav. Fanav's the only one who now remembers I was here. Oh yeah, and our new bad guy, Metian. Metian? The cute little bird girl turns out to be our big bad. Yep. And she's going to wipe out all existence, because it's what you do. And it's sad. But I will say, I did say, one of my hopes for Endwalker was that they, gave Fandaniel an actual, interesting story, as opposed to just being a psychopath who wants to end everything and himself. And I gotta say, they did a good job. They did a good job. Fandaniel / Hermes / Amon, he actually has a very interesting story that they've fleshed out throughout this expansion. And I gotta say, kudos. They actually made him more of an interesting character. And that's the problem. They haven't done that for Xenos yet. So we'll see what happens when... I mean, he's just sort of like... He left the story anyway. So, I mean, let's see what happens when he just, like, suddenly barges back into it. But we gotta continue the story to do that. So, let's continue. Warren, listen to me. Our duty now is not to denounce Hermes for his misguided determination, or to convince Emmet Selk and Hythlodaeus that they have been deceived. No, we must instead ensure that the experiences Hermes sought to expunge are preserved. What remains in our memories alone will be our weapon against the final days. You must fight this battle in your age, and I in mine. Come, let us walk together once more. I will see you to the doors of Proplieon. Pretty much, yeah. Well, if you even want to call it that, I mean, it's barely, I would barely call Xenos' shtick, like, a motivation, because it's just like, oh, I'm bored, but fighting this guy gives me a boner. That's now my motivation for life. It's like, oh, okay, whatever. So where are we going, by the way? Oh, we're going all the way out. Shit, I should just talk to her. So yeah, it looks like the final days, as it is basically just Meteion. Meteion is just, she's trying to end things, because it's what she did. And somehow, you know, in between Zodiark and Hydaelyn, they stopped it, well, postponed it the first time around, and now that Zodiark is gone back in our time, it's created the imbalance necessary for it to happen again. So, yay! I guess. Your time in this age is drawing to an end. Upon speaking of Vanoss, several cutscenes will play in sequence. It is recommended to set aside sufficient time to view these scenes in their entirety. This is like the 4th or 5th time during this expansion that they've done this. Where they warned you, like, lots of cutscenes.
So, it is within. The portal that brought you hither, and will take you home.
Maybe. That's just dumb. If I said that, that just shows that my Warrior of Light knows nothing about time travel. Yep, this is where we part ways. Which we're not really, seeing as, you know, we're her thrall anyway. In the future.
May you and yours emerge triumphant. Make use of the knowledge you have gained, that your days in Elpis and our friend's sacrifice be not in vain.
Okie dokie.
With Meteion free to pursue her designs, 'tis only a matter of time until the final days are upon us. We must be ready. From fortifying our defenses to securing our escape, there is much to be done. In spite of this, we cannot allow the report that set this calamity in motion to become common knowledge. Were the masses to learn the fates of the other stars, I fear the situation would spiral out of our control. I must carefully consider who can be trusted, and bring them into the fold.
And who are you going to bring into the fold?
Ordinarily, I wouldn't hesitate to call upon the 14.
But
However,
problem with that
it was the
is
desire for a fair determination that drove Hermes to attempt to erase our memories. And were he made aware of his actions, there is no telling whether he would remain a friend or become a foe. Alternately, we might try to alienate him from the convocation. Yet in doing so, we would deprive ourselves of a brilliant mind, who would be invaluable in the crises to come. Quite the dilemma. Which is why I must work independently of the convocation. Regardless of how we proceed, if we are to permanently avert the final days, we must be equal to Hermes' challenge. We must prove that mankind is worthy to exist. And this hinges, I think, on how we confront the all-consuming despair that accompanies a senseless and seemingly inevitable end.
with stabbity death.
Wounded and divided, we would perish like the peoples of those celestial ruins. We could not hope to survive the final days, much less take the battle to Meteion at her nest. We must find a way.
But I'm good at taking the battle to things' nests and causing
to
stabbity
unite
death.
and prepare as many as possible for the struggle ahead.
Right. Stabbity death. Got it.
Heavy will weigh the burden of guiding this legion of souls. Yet I have faith in mankind's potential. As long as he believes in himself, there is naught he cannot achieve. So I will not give up on him. On us. You may find your world to be very different. Or perhaps the erasure of our friends' memories has sown the seeds of a conjunction between us. We cannot know until the moment is at hand. So shall I strive to do my best, taking naught for granted as I walk my path. And I pray you walk with me to the end.
I'll think about it.
As you move forward, so too will I. As will all, resolved to fight for the morrow. And when mankind has found the strength to stand against despair...
Well, if you saw what I saw, it ain't doing too well on that end. There's a lot of people transforming due to despair.
we shall silence the song of oblivion.
Wasn't that the song when you do the Bard's story quest that they're seeking out? Was it the Song of Oblivion or Song of Annihilation? Or something to that effect?
It will learn our journey is far from over. This I promise. Fare you well, my light of the future, till we meet again.
Oh god, what did she slip into our drink?
From this day forth, I shall strive to bring honor to the seat of Fandaniel.
Alright, so he still takes a seat as Fandaniel. Got it. Oh! The end of days, the final days occurs. Yes, Tyro. Just like Azem, you know, like our full version. You know, our unsundered self is has no real true name that we know of. It's just that's the seat that they took on the convocation of Azem.
Even now,
And what she was the previous
I
Azem.
remember standing there, locked in a moment where the sky is aflame.
You got a little something right here.
Where stars fall as tears, and screams darken the seas. Where resignation rots the trees.
Now that's fire. Fire is rotting that tree.
Where terror twists magics into abominations. Such is the lament of they who have gone before.
Ugly.
The song of they who tried and failed to create a better world. The song of the end.
You're gonna just watch that. Yep, she's just gonna watch that happen. She ain't even gonna try. Oh shit. Woo! Answers is playing in the background.
That which hides at the edge of the universe is no longer hope's creation. It It is hopelessness incarnate. That day, mankind saw half of its number sacrificed to bring forth Zodiac.
I was just about to ask, is that Hythlodaeus going off to sacrifice himself for Zodiac? And yep, that's what it was.
And covering the star in a shroud of ether, we forestalled the final days.
They did.
Yet the cries echoed still. We,
Hi,
whose innocence
Fandaniel
lost,
/ Hermes.
wailed for death inevitable. A reality too terrible to bear. And for too many who sought comfort in gilded memories of joyful days and tranquil nights.
This is all wrong. Why must we suffer so?
Because you like pineapple on pizza, and that's why.
It needn't be like this. No. There must be a way to restore things to the way they were. To reclaim the perfect paradise we once had.
No, my friends. Suffering exists, and we cannot pretend otherwise. No civilization, however great, could eliminate it. If we would live, we must accept it as our constant companion. Let us not seek to forget this tragedy. Let us carry it in our hearts, that we may grow stronger and know true happiness.
We can't accept it. We won't accept it. It will be ours again. A world free of sorrow.
You're an idiot.
No, it will not. For there has ever been sorrow. Mankind was but spared its biting sting for a time. So please, open your eyes to try and reclaim those lives we lost by sacrificing yet more.
I'm waiting for that guy to put on a red
wisdom.
hat that says, "Make
It
Aetheris
is
great again."
weakness. No paradise is without its shadows. If we cannot accept this truth and learn from our pain, then our plight shall be repeated.
This bitch crazy.
O mighty Zodiac! God, born of our boundless faith, we bid you, hear our prayer. Accept this offering of lives, and deliver unto us the lives we once had. Deliver unto us the days of old.
Wait, I thought they sacrificed half their
Days
population.
when
Is
the
that
star
half their
was
population?
a font of love, and we knew naught but bliss.
Ooh, nice sword.
You would destroy it? Our beautiful world?
No, just you.
Lands that stretched on forever. Skies one could drown in. The heartbeat of nature, silent yet strong. And amidst it all, a people. Beacons of light and life. Laughter that warmed my heart like naught else before. They are my meaning and my purpose. My love. In spite of, or perhaps because of this, I choose to believe in mankind's potential, in his ability to find a way forward. So let there be no way back. From that temptation, I sunder us.
I like you.
No more shall man have wings to bear him to paradise. Henceforth, he shall walk.
I love it. Ooh. Clothes a little fucked up.
All is excruciating pain. I breathe fire and torment.
Oh, she got fucked up.
I birth a world of suffering to mire and plague.
Oh!
In one fleeting moment, lives come and go, ever moving towards the unknown. And in that fleeting moment, they cry for the answer to the question. Why, given life, are they meant to suffer, to die?
Oh, fuck me.
As fragmented, imperfect beings, yours is a never-ending quest. A quest to find your purpose, knowing your end is assured. To find the strength to continue when all strength has left you. To find joy, even as darkness descends. And amidst deepest despair,
wow!
light everlasting.
Shit. Gotta give him, credit. Where credit's due. Their storytelling is actually really good at times.
A conjunction has begun to form, an intertwining of your time and mine. When you truly understand what is at stake, and your journey has prepared you to surmount the insurmountable, then shall I honor the promise made in another time, another age.
So that's what that meant. Well, where are ya? I guess I don't need these clothes anymore. But where was Elidibus? I thought Elidibus, you know, the remnants of his soul there, so that he remembered us at that time, in that place. I don't remember seeing Elidibus there. Yeah, no, try to... Yeah, where are we going, anyway? Report to Cryo in the Baldessian Annex. Okay, I can do that. That was good cutscene. I just ate that cutscene, like... tasty. I wonder how the warrior blade doesn't have his head explode from all that knowledge. I know, right? There we go. I gotta show off my new armor I collected over the weekend. The Catisis Hyperborea armor is like some of my favorite armor set in this game. Check this motherfucker out. I mean, come on. I might, like, this is one of those few armors I'm just gonna keep as a potential, excuse me, as a potential glamour. Yeah, I know the spear isn't to my liking, but the armor is. That armor's just badass. Hello, everyone! I have returned. Sing my praises. Warren! Warren, impeccable timing, as always. I'd heard you were off to the first as part of our efforts to investigate the final days. Well, as so often seems to be the case, while you're away, we've had some few developments, which we can discuss in just a few moments. For now, however, I cannot tell you how wonderful it is to have you back. Carrying our song. Uh-oh. The heavens are burning, are they? Ooh. Does that mean, like, heavens as in Heaven's Word? Are we going back to Ishgard? Or just the sky in general? So have you learned aught more of the final days? Then the journey was well worth the risk. No doubt your newfound knowledge will be a great boon to us all. Unfortunately, during your time on the First, events here have taken a turn for the worse. The Scions are running themselves ragged trying to contain the spread of blasphemies, but it's a losing battle. To try and ascertain the where and why of it, Alisei and Alphino have been traveling all over. Of all the regions they've visited, Locus Amanus is one of the worst affected. Thancredis, Dinian, and Graha took a detachment of allied soldiers there to offer aid and succor to those in need. But the province is vast! They only managed to visit a handful of coastal villages. It was an accomplishment worth celebrating still, but a drop in the bucket at best. In the meantime, Y'shtola and Master Matoya have been making a concerted effort to establish contact with Hydaelyn in the Ethereal Sea, but to no avail. As for Tataru and I, we've been having a pizza party. I mean, we've been keeping a close eye on the forum. Yes. From what we gather, they've been constructing a vessel to ferry people to the moon. An ambitious project that has likely been years, if not decades, in the making. There should be another comma right after decades. However, since we've seen no sign of it thus far, I suspect it's still incomplete. You will also recall the proposal issued by Master Fortunal to the people of Razat-Han. Following the discussion, Vritra declared his support for the plan and urged those who wished to evacuate to accept the forum's invitation. So far, so good. But that's where things get a little strange. Apparently, the Forum caught wind of the lunar teleporter in the Tower of Babel and decided to use it to deliver people to the moon instead of their mysterious ship. Therefore, to secure a safe passage for the Hanish refugees to the tower, Alphino, Alisei, Estinian, and Graha traveled to Garlemald not long ago. Trouble is, the capital was hardly the safest place to begin with, and now... the final days have come to Garlemald. Good. Stabbity death for me. Shortly after our friends arrived, they were sent to rendezvous with Master Fortunal. Then, panic broke out, and our communications were severed. From what fragments we were able to make out before the link shell went completely silent, we can only assume the phenomenon has spread to the capital. The others need you, Warren. Please, you must help them. Stabbity death time! And I have lots of points all over my armor that I can cause stabbity death with. Having you there will make all the difference, I'm sure of it. Camp Broken Glass was their first port of call, so you'd best start there. Hopefully Lucia will know where they all are. There's no telling what you'll be walking into, so you'd best take every possible precaution. Look, I got the best armor and weapon I could possibly have at this point in time, until, you know, I can get the artifact gear and next dungeon gear, so I think I've made all the precautions I can. Run in a balloon factory. That'd be funny. Why is the world falling up? Damn it, world, stop falling up! Wait, over here. Warren, and not a moment too soon. The skies over Garlemald are ablaze, but it's events on the ground that concern me. As you will have heard, your fellow Scions arrived ahead of you. We cut the customary greeting short after we received word from our troops on the Magna Glacius that the Forum's airship has landed. It was then that the heavens began to burn. I dispatched your friends at once to ensure the refugees come to no harm. I would have you join them immediately. Additional support is en route, but we will discuss them later. I trust you are ready to depart? Upon departing for the Magna Glacius, several cutscenes will play in sequence. I just recommend that you set. Okay! In addition, you will be required to participate in battle. That's what I like to hear! Your progress will be saved at certain points. In the events that you are defeated, you will be able to try again for the most recent events. Please note that if you enter battles associated with other quests or logged out from the game, this progress will be lost. Level 88. That's fine. Meanwhile, earlier on the Magna Glacius... Why were you standing there watching it, dumbass? Why were you not running your feet off? God damn it.
No. 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 We were promised an escape. Not the same room we fled.
Ew. That's a new one.
I shall not meet my final days here in this blasted waste. Calm yourselves. Your panic is our greatest enemy.
Oh, even the monsters don't want to touch you.
We must build
That's how
a
much you
line of
suck,
defense.
Fortunal. So, How's going that whole, like, non-confrontation, no fighting thing there,
Leave
huh?
the fighting to us, Father. You must lead the people to safety.
How's that neutrality working out for you now, Fortunal? Yeah, Dragoon in action!
I can handle this pair.
You shall tend to the refugees. Let us be about it.
I love when these two are together again. It just gives me
My little lord.
such flashbacks to Heaven's Word. I love it. Oh, hello. Crap. Okay. What am I supposed to be doing?
See to the wounded.
Actually, I probably look up for that guy over there. You be healed now. I hope that's a healing spell. You're healed. You be more healed. Oh, hello. How are you doing? Ah. Fuck me. Oh, there we go. I like that one. Go, Estinian! It's weird seeing Dragoon attacks being done from the third person. Oh, god damn it! I just helped you, fools! Kill them as they turn? What the hell do you think I want to do?
Come with me.
It's doing some kind of debuff. Whatever that... Okay. No.
Easy
Chill.
now. Deep breaths.
Chill.
You're safe now.
Gotcha, Tyro. Thank you.
Worry not for the refugees, but for yourself, boy.
Fuck off, Dad. So is I supposed to be fighting here? Ah, hello. How are you? Put that on you. Oh, Wesley needs a little help there. It's group healing. It's a barrier. I think it is. Fuck me. Okay, gonna play this game, are we? Got it. The hell. Fuck! Oh, wait. Damn it. Damn it. No, I'm not. Oh, boy. Nope. I didn't need to do that. That was a waste of MP.
But not hard enough!
Stop smacking him, damn it! God, what I wouldn't give for the buff that brings back MP quicker. There we go. Squeezed out a victory.
Help! Someone, please!
What?
He came in like a wrecking ball!
No. Don't. I don't want to die.
Then don't! Get up and move!
Forward! Let not a single fiend escape!
Wait, that's... You
There
and
he
the
is.
army. So, you've recovered then?
Being
Time
rescued
enough to
by
be
Garleans.
For once.
This feels weird, but I'll accept it.
We can speak of it more later. For now, we must fight! To repay your salvation in kind, or with better! For Garlemald has her pride!
Of that I've no doubt. Good gods. Of all possible saviors, the Imperial Army.
Get over yourself, old man!
Oh!
Nice! Which one of you did
I
that?
had hoped to take all of them down at once.
Oh, it was you, okay.
Think a
Red
withdrawal
Majory.
might be in order.
Oh, sod that. You know who would never abandon these people to their fate. To be devoured by their former friends. That'd be beyond cruel. These beasts must fall here and now.
Works for me. Let's do it!
Well then, I'd say it's high time we threw caution to the winds.
So long as you spare me the heroic sacrifices.
Yes, Graha, no sacrificing!
Now, let's go!
Don't you even think about it! I will kick your ass if you sacrifice yourself. Again. Crap. Scorch combo, Verflare combo, Kota 6, Kota Savior, Procure, Embolden from you. Alright. I choose... Let's get rid of the little dudes first, because they'll be a pain in my ass. I don't know the Graha. Don't take my kill, bitch. I don't seem to have a, Oh, there we go. Works for me. Beep, beep, beep. Blip, blip, blip. Whee! Okay, there we go. Still doing the doubles. I like that move. That Crimson Savior, I love it. Love it. Ow. Double out. Well, tell it to stop? Oh, shit. Right. There we go.
Today.
Loving this. I get this one, I guess. Praha! I was going for that one, damn it! Our chance for what? Can you limit break?
I'm not done yet.
I would hope not.
To worry about.
Are you fucking me? Let me guess, we got... Whoa! What is going on there?
Energy. Find cover.
On it! I see. What's the next one? Okay, cross. Oh, oh! Okay. No 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 no. No, this is not the time.
Turnabout's fair play.
Works for me! Eat it, Ryachu! Whoa! I want a limit break that does 204,000 damage. Where's my limit break that does 204,000 damage? Fuck me. See, that was I was able to understand far better.
Maybe there really is no way to bring them back.
Thank you for saving our lives once again. I remember you from Purusha. You helped us there too, didn't you?
Maybe.
Ah, you're from Palaka's stand. I'm glad you're still in one piece.
Madam, don't you be giving in to
will
despair.
be, once I see to that injury of yours.
Look out!
Oh! Yeah!
Get out of here! Quickly!
Gotta love the all-rounder Graha. Showing his chops as a badass.
Lose them! Not a one! This will be a brighter future! I won't let a madman's apocalypse ruin everything we've fought to achieve!
I think his balls dropped. Love it. Did he one-hit KO it with a shield bash?
Alize, you're embarrassing yourself. And in front of father, no less.
Fuck that guy. Don't even worry about him.
You might never measure up to our champion.
Oh, don't be that hard on yourself. Jesus Christ.
But we ask too much of him as it is. You mustn't let our sword in the darkness fight alone.
I love a leisurely stroll to help my friends. I gotta say, the armor does add to the awesomeness of the walk-on, though. Sorry, that has to be said.
I can look after myself, you know.
I love the fact that Graal had one-shotted that with a shield bash.
I trust.
I'm sorry, I'm not gonna get over that. The fact that he one-shotted that monster with a shield bash. Or did he just knock it out and it's back? Or is this a third one?
Oh, a trio for the ages.
Time for you to eat it, bitch. Damn it, Alice, get closer. Beep. Almost didn't make that. Flat.
Just the beginning.
Oh wait, oh, I see what's going on. Okay. Behold!
I had a feeling I'd find you.
Yeah, that's right, over here being the better Dragoon. Let's double Dragoon it up. Nothing can stand up to the power of 2 Dragoons. No floor stands a chance. Looks like it's gonna hurt. Oh, I see what's going on. Gotcha. Steady, time to double Dragoon it up. Let's go. Double Dragoon powers, activate! Nothing can stop the power of 2 Dragoons in their awesomeness. Our jumping is just second to none. see you, Alphino. Though you might want to think about healing yourself up there in the near future. Just saying. Fuck. Okay, that was my fault. That was my fault. Okay, can't lie, that did kill my bravado a little bit. Yeah, you keep your accursed tongue in that accursed head of yours. Told you nothing stops the power of 2 dragoons. Nothing stops the power of 2 dragoons. Hell yeah.
You must board without delay. The ship will depart ere long.
The ship? I thought y'all were gonna use a teleporter in Babel.
Your offer to host us in Sharlayan is most appreciated. But will the final days not soon fall upon it as well?
Your hesitation is not unwarranted. The satrap entrusted me with your lives, yet I have failed your comrades. Nor
Only
are you
the
wrong
3
to
of you
fear that this
survived,
corruption
apparently.
will continue to spread. I cannot promise you complete safety, even in my homeland. What I can promise is that I will do all in my power to protect you.
So long as that doesn't require me lifting a finger. You know, that is, so long as I just sort of stand around and, like, scoff at people for doing what I won't, I will do that. But no more.
That power is not inconsiderable. Even now, my countrymen are preparing the vessel that will deliver us to a sanctuary on the moon. Join us on our journey there, and beyond, to new horizons. Come to Old Sharlayan. Please.
Why are you giving them the pitch? They were already here to go to the moon to begin with.
We would be fools to refuse such a generous offer made in earnest.
It seems they've a new destination.
The people of Radzat-Han have known too much suffering. The march to Garlemald will only bring them more, short though it may be.
I quite agree. Fortunately, they have you to look after them.
Fortunately, my ass. What's he gonna do?
Yes. Well.
You know, if more people transform into monsters, I'll just sit there and scold at them. About how neutrality is best. And fighting is stupid.
Just there!
More of them.
Not anymore. Oh, you. Well, game.
Xenos! Here!
Let's see if you can make him into an interesting character.
You'll be all right. Hurry to the airship.
You did it for Fandaniel. Let's see if you can do it here.
Why have you come?
A heretofore unseen beast. 'Twas ripe for the slaying.
Ugh, just hearing your voice makes my eyes
Poor
roll.
sport, alas. Unfit to temper my blade.
Ugh.
Oh, for the love of... You cannot still be on about a rematch.
I'm with Alice on this one.
That is and has ever been my sole concern. You, on the other hand, are fixated on a different quarry. Your passion pales before mine. Yet neither hate nor despair seems sufficient to recapture your misdirected bloodlust.
Oh my god, you still suck. Okay.
So, I hone my blade, and I wait.
Could you wait over there? We have an interesting story to take care of without you, mucking it up.
That's it. That's all you care about.
I mean, Euless is more interesting than you.
Garlemald
How sad is that?
in the ruins. Our homeland, the nation you rule, is as good as gone. Along with so many of its people. Not just soldiers like us. Not only those who fought and killed for power and duty. Innocent civilians. Murdered by their own flesh and blood. Lost and confused as they breathed their last.
You're not
While
gonna
we who
turn
survived
Xenos
with our
around, Bo.
lives and minds intact were left to freeze to death. The Eorzeans tell me all this was your doing. You slaughtered your countrymen. You did. For what?
For
Because,
nothing, in the end. So much wasted effort.
You bastard!
Yeah, pretty much.
You must control your anger. It will serve no one should it consume you and see you transformed.
Would you be happier had I a good reason?
Yes. Yes, I would. Because then your very presence wouldn't make me go, ugh.
What?
If my motives met with your approval, would you no longer resent the outcome?
Yeah, like Tyro says, any reason would have been nice. But, except for, like, I just want a boner, and I only get it when I fight that guy at his full potential. Stupid.
If so,
Stupid.
then perhaps a beast's skin would suit you better. Duty, honor, morality. All constructs of convenience when put to proof. Surely the war taught you how easily power becomes the tool of the self-righteous. How the people's justice was merely a means to their ends?
I mean, he's not wrong, but still.
You would ask me why. Ask any creature of this star and those above for answers, and they will tell you what suits their fancy. And they would be right to do so. What meaning there is to be found in the petty vicissitudes of your existence must be gleaned by you, and you alone. Should you seek it in battle in the fruitless pursuit of my demise, then come. Assume your rightful place as a notch on my blade.
Chill, Bo. Chill.
A blight on the Garlean race, and there would be no more satisfying way to expunge it than by beating you to death.
Can I do it? Please? I mean, we already did it before, but unfortunately he came back.
But I will not be party to another tragedy. I refuse to lose anyone else because of you.
You know, specifically myself, yeah, but still.
So go. Go! And may we never suffer your madness again!
Trust me, I've been saying that since Stormblood, kid. But the writers want Xenos back more than they want Hildebrand back. And I find that to be a tragedy.
Perhaps you found meaning in living this way. I cannot deny you found strength. Yet if you only pursue your hedonistic pleasures and pay no heed to the plight of others, then no one will give you the time of day. You will never get what you want, not even the battle you pine for so dearly. You'll be alone for an eternity, and you'll deserve every agonizing second of it.
I would say, don't promise us a good time. Come on. I mean, for God's sakes, people like to compare Xenos to Sephiroth and his boringness, but at least Sephiroth had a reason. A motive. I mean, this is just...
We're ready to depart. The refugee ships will be leaving shortly, but I've asked mine to remain for the time being.
Okay.
There's
Do
room
we
enough
need
for
you?
you to join me on it, if you wish.
I don't like the ominous thunder
Do
crack
contain
there.
your surprise. I needn't agree with the Scion's methods or intentions to acknowledge that their deeds are deserving of gratitude.
We appreciate the offer. But might I ask why you are delaying your departure? I presume it is not solely for our benefit.
Seth was not trying to heal no planet.
I must visit Garlemald ere we return to Sharlayan. Having caused such an uproar, it is only meet that I explain myself to the Ilzabard contingent.
Allow us to accompany you then. We should be glad to facilitate, given our familiarity with all concerned. If you would like to join as well, Eulus, we can speak of recent events on the way.
Ooh, are we going to induct a new Scion? Our first Garlemaldian Scion?
He'll be after your seat on the forum next.
There we go. Thank you, Estinian. Thank you. I know, right? I love what they've done with Estinian in this expansion. He has so much more personality than he used to. Oh, I love it. I mean, more than just, you know, like, ooh, I'm the gruff loner guy, and I don't understand, you know, people who get together and do things together. You know, it's all should be lonesome guy. He's so much, opened up so much more, and I love it. To see Zeno standing there, so uncaring and unrepentant. Oh, sorry, a burp was coming up as I was saying unrepentant. Gods, I don't know what came over me. I just blurted out the first thing that came to mind, but looking back on it, I stand by those words. Alright, have a good one, Tyro. Sleep well, my beau. Take care, and I'll see you next time, hopefully. I would say I hope that they won't... Wait. I would say I hope they won't entice him to further villainy, but to be honest, I doubt he even remembers what I said. Anyway, enough about all that. It's good to see you again. Oh, and back to Lucian. Glad to hear it, Tyro.
No major injuries then. Good.
As far as I'm aware of.
I briefed the recovered soldiers and sent them on their way as quickly as I could, but nevertheless feared they would not make it in time.
The additional support was invaluable. Your men saved more than a few lives.
Yeah, there's not going to be a multiplayer Saturday this week as well, because of New Year's.
Though not all, I regret to say.
I take it that
Friday
I'm
will be more of
addressing
this.
Lucia Junius. I'm the Forum's envoy, Fortuneau Leveilleur.
That's true.
And you are owed an explanation for these most dire developments.
I mean, I'll be here doing this, but I mean, I know you'll probably be out celebrating New Year, so I understand.
Another trial wrought by the final days. I was beginning to suspect as much. You doubtless feel some consternation having been forced to abandon your original plan. But trust me when I say you were right to send the refugees elsewhere.
What's left of them?
Beasts have been sighted within the capital. Perhaps it was a stroke of grim fortune that the population was decimated beforehand, as they've yet to appear in any great number, but in time.
Take care, Tyro.
In any case, Maxima leads the remainder of the contingent in an effort to cull the creatures and evacuate the populace as we speak. Once the airships have taken to the skies, I pray your men can be persuaded to join him.
You'll permit us to retain our weapons?
Yeah. Looks that way.
I wouldn't have sent you after the Scions were expecting you to stab them in the back.
And I, for one, would not consider past transgressions more relevant than future contributions. Regardless of the circumstances that saw us at odds before, we need men of courage now, more than ever.
I love that look, like, the fuck is wrong with these people?
We swore to defend Garlemald, and so we shall.
It seems you have everything under control. You will excuse me then, for mine own duties await.
I really don't care if you're here or not, Fortuneau.
You did desire to express your appreciation for services rendered, did you not?
I did. Though if you intend to again ask that Sharlayan alter its course, you will find my gratitude insufficient.
'Tis nothing so onerous. I wish to hear the details of this grand endeavor of yours.
Is it just me or does his mouth look really big?
and not to embark upon some scheme to impede us.
Well, I mean, it is to embark on some scheme, but not necessarily to impede you.
I swear.
Any other I would doubt, but you I trust to keep your word. For not once have you broken it. Very well. I will request that the Forum make you privy to our plans. You may await our summons at the Baldessian Annex, assuming the decision is in your favor. Does that suffice?
Sure, I guess.
It does. You have my thanks.
Excellent. You can regale us with tales of your most recent sojourn to the First while we wait. Did you hear something just now?
What was with the little magical girl transformation sound effect when his ears perked? Hi? Why? There's a Labyrinth down here. Hello, Pudding Way.
Where is this star's blasted pudding?
Oh! Contingent of Labyrinths. Alright.
Dawn may banish even the darkest night, and to this bitter clime bring warmth and comfort. 'Tis heartening to see such an assembly upon my return. I thought often of you whilst I looked down upon our star's brilliance from the moon above.
Welcome back.
Yes, but what are you doing here? And dressed like that? Aren't you cold?
Verily, I fear for my health should I proceed to our purpose ere I procure more suitable garments.
Then allow me to summarize. We're here because none of you lot are up there. Nor has anyone deigned to send word about any changes in the plans. It's rude, is what it is. At least that's what I thought at first, but then folks got to wondering if you weren't in a spot of bother, so we decided to take matters into our own hands. Come down here and help, if our help be needed. So she says, but it's also something of a convenient excuse to visit Aetheris. Oriander made it sound absolutely marvelous, more so before the impending doom, but still.
Okay, I love the way Mapping Way says doom.
And it's not like there will ever be a better time. What with the aforementioned doom?
Marvelous, they say, yet not an ounce of pudding to be found. I must suffer Orianger's inferior works no more.
Hey, maybe consider the plight of present company before you go blathering on about pudding and doom.
No, we can talk about pudding. That's fine.
As I was saying, should you require any assistance with whatever, we are at your disposal. We were born from Hydaelyn's love for the lives of this star, so naturally we would much prefer to see them continue. Twiddling our thumbs up on the moon is hardly conducive to that, though, is it?
No, she's got a point. Yeah.
Aye, not when you've all got such precious thoughts and feelings and hopes for the future deserving of more active preservation. Speaking to Orianger made us realize that while we've carried out our duties to the letter, we've failed to fulfill them in spirit.
Yeah. What?
From there, it was do better. So please, show us how. Help us help you.
Well, let's start with Pudding Way. Let's get her some pudding. Everyone deserves pudding. Even though the little images she has around her head looks more like flan than pudding, but...
Forgive me, but are they...
Thy distant collaborators, indeed.
Hail, fellow. Well met. You'd be a member of the Forum, would you? It's an honor and a pleasure to meet you at last. I'm Livingway, Hydelin's right paw. That last bit is very important. As if I may humbly say so myself.
That's not humble if you're saying that.
I bid you welcome to our star, Livingway. On behalf of the Forum, I thank you for traveling such a distance to meet us. As you have surmised, preparations for the Exodus have not proceeded as smoothly as we had hoped. I should be happy to personally escort you to our headquarters in Sharlayan, where you may advise us as you deem fit.
'Twas with reluctance that I set aside the great work of readying the moon for habitation. Be assured that I did so only after the Loporrits made plain their earnest desire to come hither, and I myself felt a growing certainty that their contributions here would prove invaluable. 'Tis trite, perhaps, but I followed my heart.
Okay. May the disciples banish the darkest of nights.
I am no esteemed philosopher of Eld. Nevertheless, 'tis my hope that what little knowledge I shared shall serve them well, and perchance help save us all.
Hooray!
Will thou attend us at the Forum and lend thine own wisdom?
Yeah, putting weight in the background there. I love it.
Start moving before Urianger catches his death. Even I'm freezing out here.
Oh, I dare say you'll warm up quickly once you report the airship. Sat shoulder to shoulder with our fur-covered friends.
Someone get poor Pudding Way some pudding! She needs pudding! Give me just a second. I will return in just... I need a moment. I will be right back in a minute. I have returned. Alright, let's get this back. Let's get the show back on the road. Alright, Urianger. Let us speaketh with you. After I get back in the game window. There we go. I dare say Master Fortunato was nonplussed as we to learn the identity of Heidelin's lunar custodians. As he will soon discover, they have much and more to offer the Forum. Might I suggest we return to the Annex forthwith? We may yet have time to discuss thy recent adventures ere we are summoned to the Rostra. Where are we? Oh! Okay. I'm like way down here. We're big! Anyone, got anything for us? I'm gonna take the Aetheryte shard there. No point in running through, unless there's... doesn't look like there's anything of note between here and there anyway. Hello! Did you miss us? Not that I'm complaining, Urianger, but I wasn't expecting to see you quite so soon. Nor I thee. In extolling the virtues of Aetheris, I did inadvertently awaken in the Labyrinthos a desire to avert our beloved star's demise. Quail tells us you have obtained new knowledge that may aid us in our ongoing efforts. I have news to share regarding our study of the ethereal sea, but your findings are certain to be of greater interest, and so I would rather hear them first. To what revelations did Hydaelyn's Elpis flower lead? Then this dynamis is what drives the final days. If it and Akasha are one and the same, this all but proves Nidana's theory. We're an entity through sheer force of emotion to channel this vast, dormant reservoir into a raging river. Its power might surpass even that of ether. But if our star is so replete with ether, said entity would need to be outside its influence to effectively manipulate the dynamis of the great expanse. Meteion. Or rather, the sorrow and suffering of fallen civilizations that she has been hoarding for millennia. Untold anguish and fear and hatred, drawn from every corner of the universe, all for a single purpose, the destruction of Aetheris. Then our foe is no longer some unknowable calamity. We have but one aim, to defeat Meteion. You make it sound so simple, but you're not wrong. Vanquish Meteion and we deliver the world from the final days. But to even attempt it, there are two conditions. First, we must determine her location. Before Meteion escaped, an enchantment was placed upon her by Vana, the woman who would become Hydaelyn. The implications of temporal magics are not entirely understood, and so we cannot assume that our Hydaelyn and the Vana you met in Elpis are one and the same. Nevertheless, due to her intrinsic qualities as an all-powerful being, I'd wager that Hydaelyn possesses the knowledge we seek. Whether she would share that knowledge with us, however, remains to be seen. After all, she intends us to flee Aetheris, not to stay. Do you suppose she has abandoned her pursuit of Meteion? No, but Meteion is still out there. Aye, though not for a lack of trying on Hydaelyn's part. Surely that's why she used me as a conduit for her will, and provided clues as to, such as the Elpis flower. I believe she has been waiting for mankind's answer to Hermes' question. Ellie! Hello, Ellie! So, what's the second condition? We must find a means to reach Meteion. Naturally, our chosen method will depend entirely upon what wheresoever she has made her nest. Then communing with Hydaelyn must be necessity. Then communing with Hydaelyn must by necessity come first. Did you and Master Matoya have any luck with your investigation into the Ethereal Sea? Sadly not. Though we enlisted the help of our involved and other Echo-blessed allies, we couldn't detect so much as a whisper from Hydaelyn, even from within the Antitower. Master Matoya is of the opinion that in the years since abandoning it, the Forum has found some other method of receiving instructions from Hydaelyn. If so, it would most likely be some form of apparatus for observing the Ethereal Sea, built closer to home. I did, Ellie. I hope you did the same. As to all of you out there watching, I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas. Sorry to interrupt. We've just received word from the Forum. Your presence is required in the Rostra, where they intend to discuss the Great Exodus. Then Father was able to persuade them. They're finally taking us seriously. Let's see what they have to say. Yeah! Oh, okay, I gotta walk there myself. Game's not gonna take me there, I'm just gonna have to go myself. I see how it is. Do I need mending? No, okay. Right, so we're going there. Okay. Take me to the Rostra. Thank you. Hello, steward guy. Let me in before I stab you. The Forum is in session, and as such, the Rostra is closed to visitors. A sign of the 7th dawn? Very well, you may wait in the corridor. Of course, entry will only be permitted on the condition you leave your armaments at the door. Lest you forget, this sacred institution holds rational discourse in the highest. The implements of war are expressly forbidden. Yeah, I'm sure the what did you call it? The sacred institution, the rational discourse, and the sacred institution of rational discourse really helped back there when people were transforming into monsters and killing people. That was really. Oh wait, no, that was the armaments of war that helped that. That's what that was. Yeah. Dumbass. Just walking in with my spear. Fuck you. Oh. Whee! Destination? Alright, you stuck-up bastards. Let's do this again. Ooh. The tension. You can cut it with a knife.
There is a matter I wish to raise with you before we enter.
Okay.
We are here to listen and to learn. But if the Forum's plans are more or less what I expect, then I should like to make a proposal that will serve our ends.
Okay.
By your leave, of course.
Not going to inform us of it?
Your words and wits have gotten us this far.
Agreed. I will present our queries so that you may consider the most advantageous way to advance your proposal without distraction.
Thank you, everyone.
If I may have your attention, the ad hoc session will now commence.
Okie dokie.
The purpose of today's assembly is to brief the Scions of the 7th Dawn, at their request, on the Great Exodus. You may enter.
I feel naked without my spear. I could stabbity death all of you.
On behalf of the Forum, I commend your heroic actions on the Magna Glaciers. We shall not soon forget your service to us and the people of Radzat-Han.
Oh, really? Really? I thought you people all were like, ooh, neutrality, and ooh, war implements are bad, and fighting is just, those are savage, stupid peoples. Oh, I think really, now you're thanking us for that? Hmm? Oh, okay. Huh.
The Satrap, whom we have informed of the refugees' new arrangements, sings your praises as well.
Well, he should, because he's awesome. And they at least did something, unlike y'all.
As an expression of our gratitude, we will endeavor to answer your questions as fully and openly as we are able.
Then let us begin. First, it is the Forum's objective to ferry the life and knowledge of this star to the moon. Am I correct?
You are. It is for this purpose that Sharlayan has labored these many long years. We have collected biological samples and scientific records from across the star. When the time comes, they will be moved from their places in Labyrinthos and Numenon and conveyed to safety.
I think that time has come, Bo.
Once that
final days are here.
Task has been accomplished, we will begin transporting the Sharlayan citizenry, which has been categorized into groups. The earliest arrivals are to ensure hospitable environs for those who come after. Following our people, we will send those of other nations in turn, beginning with our allies.
I knew it was going to start with, like, us first, and then, if we have time, the rest of the world.
Radzat-Han was foremost among these. But since the final days have already come to Thavnair, we saw fit to include the refugees with earlier groupings.
An ambitious plan. You have accounted for the safety of all nations and tribes, then?
As many as we can.
And how, pray tell, do you decide who to leave behind?
To journey beyond the sky is an unprecedented and immeasurably difficult endeavor. Introducing sources of inevitable conflict would condemn all to certain death.
There it is.
Questions as to the validity of that approach aside, are your plans proceeding apace? We're under the impression that your primary means of celestial transportation is incomplete.
Oh, rubble, 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 rubble.
If only in that it does not meet our optimal parameters, that is correct.
Meaning?
This arc, as some have taken to calling it, is fully operational and could be launched even today.
But
the final days have progressed more quickly than we anticipated. At present, the ship is incapable of attaining speeds sufficient to meet our evacuation targets. Should we put the vessel into service, as it is now, we will be unable to travel to the moon and back quickly enough to complete the necessary number of trips. Precious lives and knowledge will be lost.
Oh. So it's not fast enough.
Is there anything to be done?
The ether burner, the primary means of propulsion once the craft is in the space between stars, is undergoing testing to determine whether it can be made more efficient. Though cargo is being loaded for the initial phase of the Exodus, we are prepared to continue our experimentation up to the day before launch, should it prove necessary.
What if the Scions were to solve your problem?
And how would we do that?
We shall help devise a means to improve the ether burner's efficiency on 2 conditions. If we succeed, you must allow us to meet with Hydaelyn.
Oh, robble.
It was simple enough to deduce. You have a Concord, and so you would never have abandoned the anti-tower had you no other means of communication. One far more convenient, I suspect.
And the second condition?
The second condition, also to be met upon our success, is that we be permitted to propose another use for your ark.
Robble.
We would be at liberty to refuse this proposal.
Of course. If we cannot prove its merit to the 99 here, who are we to stake on it the lives of all peoples of this star?
Delightful as always, Master Alfino.
Well, someone's having a good time.
Oh, we couldn't have asked for a finer plan. Allow us to solve this complex engineering problem of which we were entirely unaware until moments ago. What could possibly go wrong? The satire writes itself. Yet, what field has not benefited from a change in perspective? When we are at wit's end, what we need is not the same dry theories recited ad nauseam, but fresh inspiration.
Oh, Monteshane. I like you too.
I, for one, have faith in my erstwhile students to provide it, and I find their terms to be perfectly acceptable.
He's such a jovial motherfucker, isn't he?
Order! Order! We have no time to waste on debate. I call a vote. All in favor of agreeing to the Scion's terms?
And remember, the Warrior of Light is among them, and he is, very good at stabbity death. Remember that when you're deciding to say no to this. I'm counting 1, 2, 3. I'm counting at least 3 motherfuckers who need stabbity death. Oh, 4. There's a 4th one back there. No, 5. There's oh wait, no, that one, 4 back to 4. That one put their hand up. Okay. At least 4 or 5 motherfuckers need stabbity death. Oh wait, that guy in the back there.
71 in favor, 28 against.
28 people I need to murder. Got it.
Fortuneau, as the architect of this project, you are the best candidate to show them its current state. And bear in mind that regardless of your personal misgivings, this is the will of the Forum.
Yeah, I noticed your hand didn't go up there, motherfucker.
Very well.
I call this session to a close. Return to your tasks with urgency. The final days wait for none.
He don't back his kids up for nothing. Then again, he did disown them, so I mean, why am I not surprised? Sorry about not letting the rest of you in on my plan. I was, admittedly, thinking on my feet for the most part. But since we require both the means of communicating with Hydaelyn and reaching Meteion, in the spur of the moment, I saw involving ourselves with the completion of the Ark as a way to work towards our objectives simultaneously. However, we must first keep our end of the bargain by solving the problem of the ether burner. I'd like to think it's not a challenge beyond our combined expertise, or at least the expertise of our extended circle of associates. It might behoove us to learn how an ether burner actually works before we attempt to improve it, though. Why don't we call in Sid? What's Sid doing right now? Hey there, Randy! What's happening, Bo? As instructed, I shall take you to see the Ether Burner. Meet me outside the Archaeon. I trust you can make your own way there. God, I hate you. So the Ark is being built in Labyrinthos. Hardly surprising. Where else could they conceal such a massive undertaking? Okie dokie. Boop. Where are you? There you are. Hello! Did you miss me? Our destination lies in the lower levels. The Forum, in its wisdom, has granted you access to the Archaeon's lift. Step inside and have Ophaline take you to the medial circuit. Did you hear that weird chime that just happened? It was weird. Hello, Ophaline. You wish to use the lift, yes? I do. I have sent your associates ahead to Logisticon Alpha on the other side of the Merial Ergonomics. Actually, there is something I have been meaning to... No, never mind. We can wait. Let's attend to the matter at hand. Look, yo, if you want to ask about Alphino and Alice, say ask. Is it where I think it is? Yeah, way down there. Got it. We finally get to fill in the other half of this map over here. With all this map that still needs unlocking. And behold, the grapes! The grapes that the internet was going crazy over for some reason, and I don't know why. Actually, is there anyone out there in the audience right now who can answer that for me? Why the internet was going apeshit over those goddamn grapes and Square's tampering / tinkering with them? What the hell was that all about? Ooh. Face is pretty. Hi. We are to wait here while our father arranges for us to use the next lift. Here being Logisticon Alpha, where the atmospheric conditions of Labyrinthos are regulated. Water is drawn from the underground and dispersed as vapors, stimulating the formation of artificial clouds and rain. By manipulating the temperature and air circulation, they are able to create the ideal environment for the growth and preservation of the biological samples kept here. Hold on. How do you know so much about it? Why, Father brought me here as a child. What? And left me behind? Actually, you're the one who left me behind when you went off somewhere with Grandfather. The night before, I'd been asking Father how clouds are made, so he decided to show me. It was fascinating. I peppered him with questions the entire time. It is all too easy to take for granted the many interweaving aspects of the natural world, to grow inured to the wonders. But having gained an understanding of the complex mechanisms employed by the Labyrinths in creating a similar environment, I have come to view such processes in a new light. The subterranean gardens of Labyrinthos, the lunar prison forged to contain the ancient Zodiac, the habitations built for all mankind neath the moon's surface, each unique yet undeniably similar. 'Tis no mere coincidence. Ever since Hydaelyn unfolded to us the grim fate that awaits Aetheris, every essential resources we could spare has been delivered to Labyrinthos, in preparation for the Great Exodus. But that is not all. It is also a testing ground for the technologies that will allow us to settle on distant stars. Though the Labyrinths have endeavored to make the moon inhabitable... Oh yeah, okay. Sorry, I got my words mixed up. That is not our final destination. Mankind must learn to propagate life where there is none, to thrive where all is barren. Alas, time is not on our side. I have arranged for you all to enter the Central Circuit. It is there that most of our preparations for the Great Exodus are carried out, the construction of the Ark among them. Though our plans have been made public, access remains highly restricted. You, however, will not be subject to said restrictions and will have free reign to come and go as you please. Such was the will of the Forum, after all. We will prove ourselves worthy of their trust. Your trust. Then let us proceed. What trust? He did not raise his hand in approval of our plan. He has no trust in us. What are you talking about, Alphino? His hand was down during the vote. At least I think it was. Hello, Hester. By decree of the Forum, the Scions of the Seventh Dawn are permitted to enter the Central Circuit. Well, thank you. Appreciate it. I will never see you again. The ether burner is being constructed not far from here. Overseeing the work is Kokol Donkol, after whom the forge is named. Once the necessary introductions have been made, I shall leave you with him to discuss the particulars. This way. Whee! Oh, wait. That's just... Is that a dead end, or... What am I looking at here? Oh! Stairs! Hello, stairs. Oh, hello, bad guys. Let's just walk around those. Seriously, if we're gonna be, I'm literally wondering if we're gonna be helping with engineering a freaking engine, why we are not like saying, Sid! Sid! You know, I was like, shouldn't Sid be here on this one?
Could swap them out. No, been there, done that. Damn near lost my eyebrows. Think, Coco, think! We'd be well on our way to paradise. Visionaries patting themselves on the backs for their grand accomplishments if you'd only think!
Oh, God.
Yes, that does sound rather lovely.
Yeah! I mean, Master Force, you know, what a pleasant surprise. We're not blasting off already, are we?
The schedule remains unchanged, for better or worse. Which is why the Forum has elected to accept assistance in resolving the ether burner conundrum.
Huh. Not seen you lot down here before.
There are Archons among their number, but engineering is not their expertise. Nevertheless, the Forum concedes the slim possibility that they may have insights to offer.
Or a friend.
You are at liberty to return them to the surface, by whatever means you see fit.
Oh my God, fuck you, dude. Just fuck you.
I assure you that won't be necessary. Now, about your troubles with the ether burner.
Aye, aye, I'll walk you through it. Suppose I could do with a change of pace. As the name ought to tell you, the ether burner burns ether, ambient or otherwise, and transforms it into motive force. Think of it like a giant bomb that never stops exploding.
That's a way to think of it, sure.
Even out in that black void where the ether's right sparse, it's strong enough to move our arc. And it probably won't kill you like an actual bomb.
I hope not.
But it ain't perfect. According to my calculations, to travel to the moon and back fast enough for the forum's liking, the conversion rate needs to be 6% more efficient.
Oh, say 6%? That's nothing. Come on, you can do it.
Usually 6%, you say. But if
I did,
could
yes, actually, just
squeeze
now.
even another 0.6 out of it, don't you think I'd have built it that way in the first place?
Good point. Okay, sorry, good point.
Hast thou consulted with the Loporits?
Yes, they too are conducting their own research, for lack of a ready answer. The moon's propulsion systems are considerable, naturally, yet they are commensurately massive. It is no easy feat to convert their technology into an efficient means of propulsion for a teeny tiny toy boat, as they say, and as I most certainly do not.
Yes, exactly! Damn it all, I asked for refined adamantite and they send me uppity rabbits with inscrutable, ancient, incompatible technology! You're trying to drive me mad!
I'd like to see that, yes.
Do you speak of Allegan refined adamantite, perchance?
You know of it?
Only in the most general terms, I'm afraid. 'Twas an alloy of Allegan make, but the secrets of its production were closely guarded. As I recall, the record stated it was vital to Dalamud's construction and launch.
Oi, that's the stuff. No material more conductive far as I know. Slotting some ins like blowing up a dam and watching the river of ether come rushing through. Ain't a living soul that knows how to make it though. We were fortunate enough to salvage some for the ether burner, just a wee bit, mind, from a chunk of Dalamud that came hurtling into the northern empty during the calamity. With more, well, that extra 6% efficiency would be child's play. It's a crying shame that we've no other sources.
Or maybe we do.
Surely the many shards of Dalamud scattered throughout Eorzea would suffice. Why not get the refined adamantite from them?
Oh, we tried, believe you me. But only a few specialised pieces would have had any in them to begin with.
Damn.
Drive calls from Ragnarok-class internment hulks. Those are the prize bits we really need. According to the Gleaners, getting to them means delving deep into the shards. And the defences are still very operational and very eager to blow them up.
Really? Am I smelling dungeon? Do I smell dungeon?
Cream. Not sure they'd make it out alive.
Weren't we near that part of the Ragnarok when we went to destroy Bahamut?
Were we? That was a long time ago. I don't remember. The White Raven's ghost. It haunts me.
You were right. You look pale as a... Well... Best put that battle from your mind for now. Deep breaths. That's it.
That was a tough fight.
There are multiple internment hulks in Eorzea alone, so handling this ourselves may not be the most efficient option. Rather, if we could salvage adamantite from the shards simultaneously... Thancred, is the link shell we established before you went to Garlemald still active?
Of course. The floor is yours. What's all this?
Gathering firewood, so to speak. We alone can accomplish little, but joined by others, we may yet build a bonfire to carry us heavensward.
That was several expansions ago, Alphino. Jeez.
This is Alphino. The Scions have need of you.
Understood. I will contact the Lord Commander and dispatch our finest at once.
My sisters are somewhat preoccupied with the final days, so I will lead the 12-Sword expedition myself.
Okay.
Are you aware of any other sources of refined adamantite?
Logically, such an invaluable alloy would have been utilized solely where absolutely necessary, in components intended to conduct or collect surpassing amounts of ether. Any extant instrumentation or devices would have likely found their way into the hands of etherologists or enthusiasts.
Magical artifacts of Allagan design? The Eastern Alliance will send word to one and all. Are there other ways we may offer aid? No shards of the Lesser Moon scar our soil, but our stake in this cause is no less for it.
Okay.
Is there anything in Othard that might be of use to you?
What did you say? Oh, you got friends in far places, lad.
I like this guy.
If you're offering, I wouldn't say no to one of those Far Eastern sacred relics. Some of them can hold enough ether to summon a whole damn primal. Combine a source like that with the ether burner, and 3, 2, 1, kaboom!
I like this guy a lot.
I gather you heard his explosive enthusiasm. Might you secure us a suitable relic?
It shall be done. I know little of machines, but I promise we will do our utmost to gather the materials you need to finish your starship.
Yes, we will go gather one of our sacred artifacts to give to you to create explosions with.
I am glad for the work, in truth. Better to busy oneself than wait and fret over disasters foretold.
Then why are we all still standing about yapping? There's plunder for the taking. And I'm a born plunderer. I'll be an Old Sharlayan before you know it. Start mixing the grog.
Oh God, Sickard.
I'm certain that can be arranged. Thank you all, and do be careful.
Just like that.
Just
like that.
That.
Our refined adamantite is on its way. Now let us consider our next steps, shall we? There's yet much to be done.
Oh, I was kind of hoping we were going to go in a little dungeon delve. Go on, feel the pride. Okay, or leave like a douche. God, I hate Fortunal. Dude sucks. It's times like these we're reminded of how famous, or infamous, Alphino has become. Who'd have thought he could achieve so much with a single link per conversation? As we're expecting rather a lot of visitors in the near future, I'd best return to the surface and inform the relevant parties. I also have a contact of my own that might be worth a try. Oh, and who might that be? That's for me to know, and you to find out. And on that note, I leave matters here in your capable hands. Best of luck. Quest completed! Meanwhile, in Uldar.
Our course of action is clear. We must harvest refined adamantite from the shards of Dalamud and procure arcane relics of Allagan make. Summon the best and brightest of our immortal flames and form an expeditionary party at once. Call upon the Sultan Sworn and Brass Blades for support as you must.
Okie dokie.
Papashan, send word to the guilds. We will require the expertise of master artisans if we are to have any hope of identifying and recovering these elusive materials. Viergeist, we have need of your stone torches.
Is that how his name is said? Wait a minute. Isn't this the dude from the Blue Mage quest line? His son was oh, what was his name?
They are to assist the immortal flames in scouring the ruins.
Right there. I can't remember his
And
name.
to help secure the surrounding areas. I trust I can count on your support.
As commander of the Stone Torches, my son Zimberk will personally see it done.
Oh, did he go by another name?
Pippin, I would have you lead the raiding party. Assemble your finest, and with Tizona's blade, clear the way. Lord Lolorito, I pray you take charge of the search for Allagan relics. Surely you know of some being traded on open or clandestine markets, or sleeping in collectors' vaults.
I always thought that word was pronounced clandestine.
Of course,
but okay.
I ask not that you do this out of the kindness of your heart. By all means, profit on the transactions. I wish you the joy of it.
Oh, God. Well, she knows how to talk him into it.
Final days descend upon our world. If circumstances are truly as dire as they say, Uldar's best efforts may be for naught. And yet, when we Eorzeans rose from the ashes to rebuild our broken realm, did we not learn one simple truth?
Hand the whole thing to Yoshi P. He will make it better.
That which seems all but impossible to overcome alone may yet be possible if we stand together.
And put Yoshi P in charge.
It was the Scions who united us then, and it is the Scions who call upon us now. Uldar will answer that call. We will summon our courage and join the fight for our world's future. You know your duties. I, Nanamo Ulnamo, 17th in the line of Ul, bid you good luck and Godspeed.
I noticed the merchant bastard didn't salute her. Meanwhile, in the Black Shroud. Oh, I recognize some of these characters. I love it. I wonder if they're there because I did those quests. I wonder if they wouldn't be if I didn't.
We fielded a goodly number, but our ranks are heavy with healers, and an abundance of restorative magics will be of little help in destroying Dalamud's defenses. Still, it has ever been thus with Gridania. We must steel ourselves for a protracted engagement.
Or you can get help from these guys.
In that case, might I suggest taking us along?
Hey, Lise.
Commander Hext, what are you doing here?
None of the shards in Girabania are big enough to hold an internment hulk. So we said to ourselves, why not lend our neighbors a hand? We thought you might be short on people with a talent for breaking things.
While it pains me to admit it, you are right. Are our deficiencies so plain to see?
It might have been a lifetime ago, but I was once one of the Scions assigned to the Shroud.
With another long-gone member. He will be missed.
I know this forest well. I know your people. And I know we will be stronger if we fight this fight together.
Then I will impose upon you with a clear conscience. Come, let us speak of how to integrate our forces.
I think my yearly upper respiratory infections trying to dig in.
I won't let it all be for nothing. I promise you, Papalimo.
Meanwhile, in Kurthus. Oh, don't make me sad.
There you are. We've no time to waste, brother. Everyone has already... Ah.
Yeah, you're making me sad. If Harshavon was here, he'd fix everything. Pay respects, jackass.
A roar! A dragon's roar!
Always perceptive, aren't you? Meanwhile, in the Ruby Sea. Gonna get some pirates and some Kojin together. There they are.
And so, in summation, the Eastern Alliance, as well as the Honourable Lord Labyrinthos himself, reached out to me
Honourable,
for
right?
assistance in procuring these treasures of the divine, and I, in turn, do beseech the Confederacy for aid. Hmm? Is that...
Hancock? What a surprise this is.
Hey, Soderban!
And a fortuitous one at that. I have a favor to ask, you see.
Hey! We're bringing in the four beasties? Oh, I'm gonna like this. No job too small. Alright! Though our friends are searching for refined adamantite and sacred relics, we will only know if they meet your requirements once they have arrived. In the meantime, is there aught else we might do to be of service? Ha! You've already done more than enough! If I had to say, though, I could use someone who knows a thing or two about elegant technology. You there! The lad with the red eyes and matching hair. You seem to know more than the average scholar. Ha! If only Master Kokol knew how right he was. While he and Graha establish a rapport, why don't we help with preparations for the Great Exodus? Indeed, this would mean going above and beyond the terms of our arrangement, but I propose this not to curry favor. As confident as I am that we will succeed, we must be ready for every eventuality. This would also be an opportunity to familiarize ourselves with the logistics of traversing the Great Expanse, and if nothing else, it beats twiddling our thumbs while we wait for the adamantite. Well, ain't you a bunch of helpful buggers? If you've a mind to lend a hand, I know where you ought to go. Sharlayan Hamlet is lousy with researchers and scholarly types, busying themselves preparing for the Exodus. Ha! That lot need all the help they can get. Well then, off we go. Quest accepted! Whee! Hold on, there's a little bit of map that looks like a map just right over here. Just right there. Little. There we go. Hello, daytime. Right, can we go over to the center bit? What is the center bit here? We cannot, looks like. We're gonna be like our final destination. Ah. Okay. We're gonna go over here and do some things. Go to attune to another ether, right? One of these days I'll go get those ether currents so I can fly in these areas. From what I can tell, a lot of the people actually live down here. I don't know how much help we can offer, but I dare say they'll benefit from some of that fresh inspiration Scholarrock Montsashay mentioned. Let's start by asking around, ideally without getting in anyone's way. Let's meet by the Aetherite once our work is done. Let me just sleep on it. Hey there. Question I have. Is it ether current? Ether current, alright. Attunement time! There we go, just in case, you know, worse comes to worse. We'll get our ass murderized by something. Won't have far to go. I mean, it can happen. Hello, Silken Grin. Guessing you're a Gaiden based on that name. Oh, hello. Are you one of the new helpers? Working on the ether burner? Oh dear, I hear things have come to a standstill on that front. Even so, I'd choose that over my current duties. Checking and loading samples day in, day out. It's tiring, thankless work. Still, no one will be cross if I misplace a few legumes and what have you. The Forum's got enough on their plate as it is. But with deciding who gets to board the Ark and when, a lot of powerful people have opinions about that. My heart goes out to Master Fortune and the others. Well, they get a moment's rest, I expect. Do they even have time to sleep? Aha! Hello, Steady Current. Again, you're a rogue item based on that name. Helping with the Ark? Even with all the power Master Kolkol's managed to squeeze out of the ether burner, it's still not enough, apparently. And now I hear the final days have arrived. Horrible creatures running up rampant all over. If only we'd begun the exodus sooner. People are dying, and there will be no end to it if we don't fulfill our duties. But we will. We've spent years preparing for this moment. Believe in the plan, and we will be well. Sure. Just keep telling yourself that. I'm sure that'll be true if you keep repeating it. Where's person number 3? Person number 3? Where are you, person number 3? Person number 3? Wait, can we go in these houses? No. Are you back here, person number 3? Aha! There you are. Haltasane. Offering to help? That's very kind, but I should be able to organize the rest of the documents by myself. It's mostly a list of things that we'll need once we arrive on the moon, and then whichever star we choose as our new home. My duties largely concern the maintenance of living conditions. So I'll be a lot busier after we depart. Well, that's a lady. I hear that our lunar collaborators have come down to assist in our efforts. I'm looking forward to finally meeting them in person, after having communicated with them in such a limited capacity thus far. To be perfectly honest, I've not even the slightest idea what they look like. I do hope they're not enormous looming giants. Why, I would much prefer something small and fluffy, like the behatted rabbit that ran by. Then you will not be behatted rabbit. She saw a Loprit and didn't realize that's who it was. Haha! That's funny. Speaking of which... No, not growing way. Fancy meeting you here, Warren. Our friends in the forum brought us here to see the teeny tiny boat thing. A teeny tiny toy boat, which was quite impressive considering they didn't use any creation magics. What we're really interested in is Theris itself, though we now find ourselves in a sort of funny underground miniaturized version of it. But did Puddingway find her pudding? We were hoping the forum would give us a guided tour, but it appears they're rather preoccupied. Honestly, all that time to prepare and they're still not ready. I suppose we'll just have to show ourselves around. Or at least that's what we were planning to do until we chanced upon Urianger and your good self. Since you're both dawdling about, engaging in idle chit-chat, perhaps you could show us a few points of interest? Won't that be fun? That's not what we were doing, but okay. A tour of Labyrinthos. An unexpected yet prudent suggestion. Given the similarities betwixt this artificial environment and Bestway's burrow, it would be in our best interest to have the Loporits acquaint themselves with those conditions deemed optimal by their Sharlayan collaborators. I fear, however, their continued reliance upon my limited knowledge would risk narrowing rather than broadening their perspectives. Mayhap thou art better suited to lead this venture? What a marvelous idea! Might we begin with that great big what's-it over there yonder? Ah, yes, the what's-it. I shall leave his explanations to Warren. Dude, this is my first time being here. How in the world can I give them a guided tour if this is my first time being here? That doesn't make any sense. I don't even know where I am. Goodness me, to build something so large without creation magics is positively stupendous. Perhaps you could direct our attention to its most important features? What are we talking about? Oh, is he doing the humming? He is! He's doing a little 8-bit hum. I love it. Switching apparatus for points of interest. You may move the camera... Oh, we're doing this. Okay. Alright. Observe the mushroom-like thing. Observe the tank. Mushroom-like thing. Blah! That looks like the trees in Greatest Ensvale. Hold on. That's a bit of a strange shape. It's thin at the bottom, but big on round at the top. Quite tall for something so unbalanced, too. Now it makes sense. That's where they store the water. Sure, kid. We'll go with that. It's a little hard to see from here, but is that a golden pipe connected to the top of those tanks? I can see through that window another pipe at the bottom. Ah, this must be for purifying water drawn up from below. Sure. Metallic tube? You mean this metallic tube? That metallic tube. Got it. Is that water I hear from inside the great big tube? It must be because of those cogs and the gigantic wheel at the top. Oh, I see. That's how they draw up the water. There's probably some sort of spiral-shaped mechanism inside it, too. Well, if I were to hazard a guess, water drawn from underground, presumably with some other mechanism, is purified here and stored in that tower before being distributed elsewhere. I'm right, aren't I? I knew it! A design brilliant in its simplicity. I dare say it would take only a moment to install it in even the harshest of environments. For us Loporits, that is. Indeed, securing a reliable source of water is of the utmost importance for any fledgling settlement. We have read, however, that the peoples of Etheris sometimes make their homes in arid deserts and such. How are they able to survive? And then I built new races. Areas near waterfalls are common sites for villages to go by. Boop. So wherever you choose to live, you're never far from water. Oh dear, I worry we won't be able to procure the necessary amount. We can provide enough water to keep them from drying out completely, but it would appear they rely on it far more than we'd anticipated. A few adjustments may be in order once we've calculated the average rate of consumption per individual. It may also be worth learning about how exactly they obtain their water in the first place. Master Alphino spoke of the machinery responsible for that feat during our journey through Logisticon Alpha, did he not? Mayhap the Loporits will share this appreciation for the engineering marvel. Oh yes, that sounds absolutely splendid! We must journey beyond the sanctuary to Sharlayan Hamlet. I shall lead the way. You mean we'll have to brave the untamed wilderness? A fairly concern indeed. We could not help but notice that many strange, dangerous-looking creatures with big, nasty teeth lurking beyond the safe confines of this settlement. Were we not escorted here by burly custodians, I dread to think what would have become of us. Regrettably, to make a hungry predator with the aforementioned big, nasty teeth, Loporits may appear to be a potential and rather appetizing source of sustenance. Might I impose upon thee to assist in securing safe passage to Logisticon Alpha? For my part, I shall act as escort to Living Way and Cooking Way. I trust Singing Way and Growing Way to thy care. You got it. I will cause all the stabbity death I need. A more valiant protector they could not wish for. Godspeed. Alright, Growing Way. If it's all the same to you, I'd rather not be eaten by some horrid beastie. Come along, Growing Way, to the water extraction, what's it? Ooh, excuse me. Burpage. Don't you worry, little guys. I'll stabbity death all that needs to be. Hold on. I'm sure my chocobo would like to get in on the action. It is stabbity death after all. Don't want to selfishly keep it all for myself. Yoink. No. There we go. Go on, tell me how awesome I was. Thank you so much. I really hope this water extraction, Watson, is worth these harrowing experiences. As part of the fun. All part of the fun, some might say, but I'd rather not be burnt to a crisp if it's all the same to you. Oh, ya big, whiny rabbit thing. It's just a monster that's level, what, 88, 89? Come on, it can't be that bad. I did as requested. My friends, I bid you welcome to Logisticon Alpha. Our destination doth lie at the lift's top. Pray, follow me. Hello. Marvelous. Simply marvelous. So this is where the magic, or science rather, takes place. The perfect environment to sustain life, artificially created. The knowledge we'll gain here will be essential when we start looking for new stars for your kind to inhabit. Apparently, most of them don't even have air for you to breathe. You're all very lucky that Aetheris just so happens to provide everything you need to thrive. Or did mankind turn out the way they are because of the available resources, I wonder? Either way, it's nothing short of miraculous. Nothing short of miraculous. And I cannot wait to see more of it. Then, why are we stopping? Let's go. This is all very wonderful. This is all very wonderful, I'm sure, but I'd rather hope to learn more about your nourishment provisions facilities. In other words, where is the food? I believe both the knowledge and consumables you seek may be found at Merial Ergonomics. As I imagine Singingway and the others intend to study every conceivable facet of this apparatus, wouldst thou be so kind as to escort our visiting culinarian? Yes, this sounds much more interesting. Hopefully, I'll be able to see firsthand some of the delicacies Urianger was telling me about. Even his incredibly vivid, if a bit too verbose, descriptions cannot compare to sampling them myself. Not to mention Aetheris will soon be no more, so I must learn all I can while there is still time. Let us brook no further delay. So we went down just to go back up. If they wanted to see these things, why didn't they see them on their way down? Why did they come all the way down here and then decide to go back? What the? Okay, you know, I'm asking too much. This is the place, yes? The head of your robot was enough to guide me here, and I've spotted several of the fruit and vegetables featured in our compendium. I'd dearly love to try some, but I read that those who help themselves to a farmer's crops without permission are often caught and put into pies. Perhaps you could ask whoever's in charge if they would be willing to part with a few samples? Yay! I have a Labyrinth following me. It's so cute and I want to pet it so bad. Hello, Jepke. How are you, Jepke? Oh, what a fine mess this is.
Ah, it's you, the one who climbed down the mine shaft. I'd show you around if I could, but I'm rushed off my feet preparing for the Exodus. And I'm not the only one. We've all got to find ways to do what we do down here without... Wait. We've all got to find ways to do what we do down here up there. First on the moon, then on whichever star the Forum decides will become our new home. It's all so sudden. It's so unreal.
Do you want to go to the moon?
Well, it's better than waiting for the final days to claim us. But no matter how carefully it's all planned, we'll never be able to make every variety of flora and fauna with us.
Take, not make.
Even the ones we can take may not survive in their new environments. So many species doomed to extinction. Sorry, that's not what you came to talk about, is it?
Nothing quite so dire, I assure you. We merely wish to sample a little of your produce, if I may.
By all means, help yourselves.
Much appreciated, my good fellow. So, where to begin? Well, let's start with the aforementioned grapes that the internet went so fucking crazy over. Come to us, grapes. Oh, I know what these are. Grapes, yes? Let's see if they are as delicious as they look. So sweet, so sour. It tastes as much like a ripe philosopher's carrot. And yet the texture is entirely different. The contrast between the outer skin and the fruit within is most peculiar, though far from unpleasant. Yes, I think I'll try another. That is the problem with grapes. You can't just have one grape. You can't just go like, grape. Oh, I'm done. Once you start eating grapes, you just gotta keep eating them. That certainly gave me food for thought, though in a far less visceral manner than any philosopher's carrot. But tell me, what is your opinion of grapes? Fresh response. Oh, I love grapes. I love grapes. Yes, they are rather Moorish, aren't they? And for what I've read, quite versatile too. Let's think about people stepping on them to make intoxicating beverages, as I recall. There is also that. Anyway, that's enough about grapes for the time being. On to the next treat. Oh, hello. A tree. We eat trees. Oh, or the things that is in the tree. Orange by name, orange by nature. What came first, the fruit or the color? Oh, who cares? Let's eat. I do like oranges too. Not as much as grapes, but I do like oranges. Yes, that's... Equal parts sweet and sour as with the grapes, yet nothing alike. I might have to consult Oli and Jay about expanding my vocabulary. I simply cannot find the words to describe it. Perhaps what I'm looking for is... bitter? This is all very complicated, you know. So many flavors, so many choices, and each individual with their own personal preferences. Now I see why you all turned your noses up at the idea of eating nothing but carrots. Marvelous though they still are in my estimation. Let no one say I said otherwise. Ah, but speaking of carrots, I've yet to sample any of the vegetables. Vegetables. Let's see what's in that field over there. Oh, I see. You don't even want my opinion, huh? Okay, fine. Wait, which field? Where? Which one? Oh, that one. I'm on it. That color, that texture. Are they some sort of enormous round carrot? No. In any case, proper nomenclature is less of a concern than the taste. Blah! It's so hard and flavorless. I may as well be chewing a piece of wood. That's all but confirms it. These are nothing more than misbegotten failures masquerading as godly carrots. Stop! 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 Can't you see these are pumpkins? And no one with any sense would try eating them raw. You're supposed to cook them first. Do you not find it do you not find it an awful bother? Far from it. Cooking is a joy unto itself. And what's more, it broadens the range of ingredients that we may safely eat. But above all else, cooking allows us to draw out the full potential of our produce. Pumpkin stew... Damn it. Pumpkin stew has been one of my favorite dishes for as long as I can remember. And perhaps even these hard blocks of plant matter can become as delicious as the orange I sampled? I wonder though, if there is anything even more delicious. How about that yellow fruit over yonder? It can, Liz. You are correct. Yellow fruit? Yellow... Wait, what? Banana? Did we find banana? That's not a banana! I don't wonder its fragrance. With luck, it'll have a flavor to match. As I have no idea how these are eaten, I'll just bite into it. Like, God, is this poison? Oh, lemons. They're lemons. A lemon? You mean it's supposed to taste like this? How could something so similar to an orange be so revolting? Ugh. It may be some time before my palate recovers from this ordeal. As such, I'd best call an end to this round of sampling. Let's say our farewells and return to the others. Okay.
Finished, have you? I trust you found something to your liking.
I'm rather enamored with the grapes and oranges. Less of the pumpkins, though I learned the hard way they're not to be eaten raw. Then there was the lemon, the deceiver. I feel so violated.
First time, was it? I'd hate you to leave with a bad taste in your mouth, in more ways than one. So I'll give you this lemon muffin I baked. If this doesn't change your opinion, nothing will.
More lemon? Have I not suffered enough? Nevertheless, it would be remiss of me to spurn the opportunity to... Oof. Bit of sick came up there. Learn more of your inscrutable ways. Very well, lemon muffin. Do your worst. Oh no, give little cooking way a lemon meringue pie. That'll change their mind about lemon. Oh, so good. This is delicious. Although I still detect a hint of lemon, it complements the sweetness of the dough to create a perfect harmony. I never would have guessed its vile bitterness would be utterly utilized so elegantly. My good chap, this is simply breathtaking. Bitter? I thought lemons were sour, not bitter. Maybe I don't understand the proper definition of bitter. Or maybe Cooking Way doesn't.
See? We rarely use lemon in its natural state, but it has a starring role in all sorts of recipes, and the same is true for many other ingredients. It comes down to making the most of the resources at your disposal, and sometimes that can even be the difference between life and death. I know we won't be able to take every species with us. No doubt the Forum agonized over what was worth preserving. We will be consigned to history. Not choices. We make them we must if we're to survive.
Such strength of will. Now I know what Hydaelyn sees in your kind.
You didn't before? Thanks, I guess.
Mankind, the Labyrinthos. We were both born from the accumulated knowledge of the ancients. They learned all there is to learn about the nature of sentient life and the fates of the stars themselves. Once a civilization has fulfilled the basic requirements for survival, it will inevitably seek to eliminate all forms of negativity and achieve perfection. And therein lies its folly, and its downfall. For perfection is an unattainable ideal. 'Tis the paradox of the immaculate carrot. What? Yet civilizations since time immemorial have deemed the pursuit of perfection as progress. They pay no heed to the costs incurred in their futile quest, and all too often become the architects of their own demise, their dreams forever unfulfilled. What, then, is the alternative? The answer lies knowing that our existence can never be perfect. To be content with what we have and make the most of it. But if you're too content, then you never progress forward. You never make achievements. If you're too content. When life gives you lemon, make lemon muffins or lemon meringue.
Pardon my Eorzean, but what is the seven hells are you on about? And who are you, anyway?
Cooking Way at your service. I'm here to help prepare for the trip to the moon. And once you get there, you'll be able to try my carrots. I've been growing all different kinds. But don't worry, there'll be room for your crops too. We'll work together to preserve as many Aetheris' species as possible, if you're up to the challenge.
Yes, of course. I look forward to it.
Well, this has all been highly productive. Probably. Let's go and see if Urianger and the others have run out of machinery to inspect, shall we?
And then those two got together and formed a little family and had many little scaled rabbit babies. And they were adorable. And you are... Where's everybody? Here? Here?
Alright. Oh, there you are. That was most enlightening, especially the part with the lemon muffin. Actually, I was wondering, do you know of any other places famed for their cuisine? The Far East has oodles of noodles. Limsa Lomas is home to the Culinarians Guild that I'm a level 80 culinarian of, and many less than savory establishments. Yeah. Would that I had time to visit. The more I learn of Etheris, the more I wish we could spare it from the final days. Alas, Heidelberg's orders are to flee, not to resist. If only there was some other way. That other way is called me. Warren, I trust thy time at Mariol Economics did bear fruit. Our own efforts, too, were rewarded. We now possess an embarrassment of educational riches. No doubt our guest's relentless pursuit of knowledge could occupy them, and us, for a fortnight. Alas, time is of the essence. Let us return to Sharlayan Hamlet forthwith. I shall gladly attend to each and every loporrit there, should further questions within my power to answer arise. Aww. Get over it, Growing Way! Yeah, I definitely feel it. I definitely feel it in my lungs. My yearly upper respiratory infection is trying to take hold. It's trying to become a thing. I'm gonna have to start my procedures now, so that I can hope it, help it not take hold. Especially in the current climate of things. Unless I get these upper respiratory infection with what's going on. But I survived it last year. I'll survive it this year. God damn it. Survived it all the previous years. Oh yeah, I haven't talked to you yet. There we go. Sigh. Yes, Warren, that was indeed me verbalizing this aside to express my emotional state. Do you want to know why? Because I saw the reconstructed environmental data from Etheris at Logisticon Alpha. That's why. A forest so lovely and so leafy. And all of our... are all of your forests like that? Indeed. Let's do that one. Hey, gasp! Gasp, I say! With a star so wonderful, it comes as no surprise that you're reluctant to leave it behind. I was a fool to think otherwise, to assume that the moon was something worth being proud of. How ridiculous we must seem to you, trying so hard yet achieving so little. Not at all. Thy works are no less worthy for their uniqueness. I thought I heard tiny voices. Thancred. So tiny they're not even on a screen anymore. How didst thou fare? Oh, I was able to glean a fair bit from the researchers while helping to move their cargo. Preparations have proceeded without interruption here, despite news of the coming end. We have the forum's leadership to thank for that. That doesn't mean people aren't worried, though. Quite the opposite. Knowing disaster could strike at any moment, they hurry to complete their work, equally aware that a single error could be the difference between life and death. And we can hardly tell them there's no cause for concern. Perhaps not. Though aided by our goodly growing way, we may yet find other ways to lighten their burden. Me? Be of use to people? I'm honored that you would think me so capable, but I'm not sure that I'm up to the challenge. Nevertheless, I believe in thee. If you say so, I suppose it can't hurt to try. I passed someone moping in the Western Plaza that looked to be in need of a helping paw. Perhaps you might start with him. Tis as good a place as any. Come. Well, I mean, if I was depressed and upset about the end of the world, and a little band of marching rabbits just, like, came up to me, being all cute and adorable, I think I would, I might get over it for a little bit, you know? Just a little bit, though. You know, it is the end of the world, after all. Hi. Oh, can I help you? It is you who would help me. Is my anxiety truly so obvious? A burden shared and is a burden eased. Pray, tell us of thy troubles. Those little fellows do look like good listeners. I'm an engineer, you see, and what they say of the ship, that it's the sum of decades of Sharlayan ingenuity, that it's built with peerless Allagan technology, is all true, but I know that none of that's a guarantee. We've never before launched a starfaring vessel, let alone flown it to the great expanse. All the tests we've run have been on the ground. Only operational personnel and cargo will be aboard for the first voyage, but even so, if it fails us then, what can we do? And if it doesn't, it could have fallen apart on the next flight, or the one after that. We've done everything we can to prevent that from happening, but it hardly matters. We thought the Aetherburner's design was flawless too, and look how that turned out. Thou art familiar with these most daunting technologies, and thus dost thou hold the power to allay his fears. Oh, I'm not sure about that, but, well... Maybe you could tell me if there's any aspects of the ship's design that you're especially worried about. Our ability to walk about and perform our tasks, for one. I devised a means by which to employ gravity. I'm sorry, what the fuck? A spatio-temporal spell to regulate the environment. What if it's not strong enough? What if everyone floats away and begins crashing into things as soon as we've left the star? Aha! Gravitation! Maybe I can help it. Maybe I can be of help after all. Up there is not so different from down here, you see. The same rules apply, and if you consider them as part of one great big cosmos rather than separate places... And the eggheads have begun. I suspect both parties shall find comfort in this conversation. Yet, if Thancred's tale be true, still others would benefit from insights born of experience. But to prevail upon the Labyrinthos to attend them? An excellent idea, if I do say so myself. There is naught we'd like more than to ease the hearts of the fine people of Aetheris, and learn more about them while we're at it. Full glad I am to hear it. Gather thy companions and bring them hither. Warren, thou hast a gift for finding souls in need of succor. Pray seek thee out the distressed and the apprehensive, and inform them that help is at hand. I shall await them here, that I might introduce each to a suitable Labyrinth. So Labyrinths are emotional support animals now. Oh, I do so look forward to that. A place for every Labyrinth and every Labyrinth in their place. I don't like the sound of every Labyrinth in their place. I don't know why, that just sounds wrong. People, come to me! Bunnies! We have bunnies for you all! You, engineer person, I have bunnies for you! What am I thinking about? The medical facilities on the ship, of course. I designed them with the assistance of our sages and chirurgeons, but to imagine every illness or injury that one might face in the great expanses beyond any of us. To say nothing of the effects that living out there indefinitely might have on the body. crew from the moon! Why did I not think of that? I must go hug a bunny! You, capricious researcher! Did you know there are bunnies? Aha! Aha! The end of the world is nigh, and the world goes no faster. Schedules are such temperamental things, feasible one moment, utter bullocks the next. And yet, I've never felt so alive! So it's beyond your help. Only sleep can save her now. No bunny for you. No bunny for you. You! Irascible administrator, did you know there are bunnies? You! Yes, you idiot! Yes, you idiot! Have you seen an envelope lying about? This imbecile refuses to give me the alchemic I ordered without the bloody slip of parchment. Bunnies. There are bunnies. Bunnies. Unless your friends have a spell to make me remember where I dropped my damned envelope, I doubt they'd be more help than you. And you've wasted enough of my time already. It would be unfortunate for all involved to inflict this man upon the Lord. Good point. By the way, do you have anything worth selling, by the way? Anything interesting? No. No, you do not. Even though the weapon you have requires a higher level, it is weaker than what I have. So goodbye. Oh, grimacing naturalist! Have you seen the bunnies? Nick? My face? What's wrong with my... Ow! Perhaps I am a bit tense. I was tasked with ensuring that the proper fauna, and only the proper fauna, are brought with us to the moon. However, the suitability of a few species is still under debate, and I can hardly make the decision myself when I know so little about the environment up there. Including the labyrinths in our discussion is a wonderful idea. I absolutely will, thank you. Perhaps their biology itself might offer some clue as well. Don't you go cutting up any of the bunnies. Mathematician guy, have you seen the bunnies? I said bunnies. Bunnies. Cute little bunnies. Oh, this is a mathematician. Wait, is that a dude or I think that's a lady? Consult our collaborators. I suppose that would be more effective than sitting here brooding. I'm attempting to calculate how much cargo we can consolidate into fewer trips, should the Etherburner make our original estimates unfeasible. But there are simply too many variables. I feel as if my brow will turn inside out. But perhaps our lunar associates will have more insight into how much weight constitutes too much weight for our purposes. Thank you for letting me know. Bunnies. Anyone else need a bunny? Emotional support bunnies. Is anything bothering me? Well, I've been loading cargo for bells now, so my back feels like a void sense played it as a piano. My feet and knees are drums and cymbals too. This glitter seems fine, if in need of a break. Alright. Peoples, where are you? Aha! Hey, skeptical researcher, have you seen bunnies? Have you heard anything of what's on the moon? I have no doubt that we can make it up there, but the searching for a new star part of the plan sounds awfully vague to me. I asked the forum, but they will only tell us that our collaborators have everything under control, quote unquote. Forgive me, but I don't feel particularly safe wandering through the sea of stars on God knows what made by God knows who. You mean to say that I can speak with them directly? Amazing! I hope they like questions. They do. Just go talk to your emotional support bunny. Anyone else need an emotional support bunny? I know of a few. Aha! Hey, level-headed engineer. Have you heard of the bunnies? Concerns? Nay, there's no point in worrying at this stage. It'll only make the work go that much slower. Oh, well, she's fine. She doesn't need an emotional support bunny. Do you need an emotional support bunny? There are several here. You should go talk to them. Come on. Just transport into the game and go talk with your emotional support buddy. That's all. That's simple.
56 bunches of weeds in the ground, 56 bunches of weed. Rip one out, add to the mound, 55 bunches of weed in the...
Eep! I'm not neglecting my duties, I swear. I was in need of a little break, you see, but when I found myself unable to relax at all, so I went... Wait. I was in need of a little break, you see, but then I found myself unable to relax at all, so I went on a walk, and then I noticed these weeds, and... Pleasant conversation partners and... Wait, pleasant conversation partners and oh so fuzzy? Goodness me, that does sound like a way much better way to relax. Well, now we have learned. Bunnies are better than weeds. Who knew? Oh. Who would have known that bunnies are better than weeds? Wonders never cease. Hello? Anyone else need the help of bunnies? You look harried. Would you like to see something hairy instead? Like a bunny?
Blasted assistants! Where have they gone off to at a time like this?
Beg pardon, but I have not the time for idle chit-chat. I need to reconfirm that ether levels are consistent throughout the vessel's machinery, and it seems I shall have to do so single-handedly. I swear, when I find those assistants of mine... Assistants... The Loporits are willing to help? Why didn't you say so? At least they won't moan about how they checked 2 dozen times already and haven't slept in weeks. Lazy sods. See? Bunnies fix everything. Now I want a bunny. Someone give me an emotional support bunny right now! One that's anthropomorphic and bipedal and humanoid and cute as hell. And has a name that, you know, denotes what it's good at. How might I help you? It's I who can help you. Have you heard about emotional support bunnies? My, what a lovely idea! I too noticed people becoming rather tense, so I rushed out to pluck some fresh and fragrant tea leaves. Now I need only track down 100 or so cups. But don't you worry, I can manage. I hope your plan to cheer everyone up goes well. This woman is doing better than you are. Okay, where are people who still need help from emotional support bunnies? Worries. No, worries. No, I believe I'm fine, thank you. I've been confiding in my colleagues, and it's helped a lot. Can't recommend it enough. So already has the response. Bye, Rapidash. Your time has run out. I thought I used you much, but... Ooh, hello, despondent engineer guy. I will help you, because you don't have an emotional support bunny. So therefore, you need my help.
Just leave me to my misery. The forum can appoint someone else. I apologize. I simply don't know what to do. How am I supposed to pilot the Ark if I'm already falling apart under the pressure?
Yeah, we don't need you piloting that. Find someone else. Even emotional support bunny can't help this situation.
You know a starship pilot that I might speak with? Truly? Well, then there's no time to waste. They can help me prepare for this monumental task.
Go find your emotional support bunny. Although I don't know if I want somebody like that piloting my ship. Where would I find one more person who needs an emotional support bunny? Aha!
By the gods, my chest is tight. Am I dying? Is this what dying feels like? Do pardon me. I didn't see you there. There is no cause for concern, I assure you. No cause for concern, even though we may need to depart at any moment. And if the hull I designed buckles under the strain, the entire vessel may explode on launch, claiming countless lives and dooming all mankind. But that is highly unlikely. Yes, highly unlikely. Highly... Our visitors can help me triple check for structural flaws, you say? Why, that would be wonderful! I'm breathing more easily already.
All of the emotional support bunnies have been given out. I hope there's not 9 people who need emotional support bunnies, or 10, because there was only 8. Fuck all the rest of y'all. Aye. Behold, Warren. Through thine efforts, word hath spread throughout Labyrinthos. Verily, to a far greater number than we anticipated. Living Way doth gather more Loporits as we speak. I shall assign each in accordance with their skills, that new bonds of friendship might be forged. Should greater matters require not thine attention... Should greater matters require not thine attentions, watch over them, I prithee. They'll be fine. They'll be fine! They'll be fine. I mean, there might be the occasional person who wants to grab and hug them because they're so cute and adorable, but I mean, they'll be fine otherwise. Hi.
Phew! Oh, finally some rest. Why, I haven't spoken so much in, well, in forever.
Lively, isn't it? The town is abuzz. Everyone eager to meet with our friends from the moon.
What if our moon is populated by anthropomorphic bipedal humanoid bunnies?
It would behoove you to consult with Sleeping Way. As our moon's pilot, his advice should be most pertinent.
I'm impressed. Truth be told, I struggle to tell one from another. No offense intended, of course.
None taken. After you and your friends left Mare Elementorum, we spent no small amount of time with your Urianger. Oh, the conversations we had. He told us all about Atheris, answered our every question, no matter how trifling or trivial. Look! Every page filled to the margins with knowledge.
I can't see. I can't see from this angle.
When I first arrived, I was struck by how little I knew. It was daunting. But then I realized that were it not for Urianger and his teachings, we'd still be stuck on the moon.
Oops. Damn it.
What would they think if they could see Urianger now? I dare say they'd be more than a bit surprised. And impressed, no doubt.
They who?
Master Louis Soir.
Oh.
Minfilia. Papalimo. And not to forget...
Moonbreeder. Who we still haven't told the parents of. Ah! Here it is. I was wondering if we were going to get back to that.
Oh there. Heard there was a visiting expert who we might bother with a few questions. I take it you'd be the one.
Uh-oh. Time for some very awkward conversation.
Yeah, yes, I am.
Oh boy.
Vilfson and Lavida, Sharlayan's foremost researchers in the field of teleportation magic, and Moonbreeder's parents.
It hath been some time. Tis good to see you in good health.
Likewise, old friend. Lavida and I were most honored to answer the call. Never expected this reunion, though, did we, dear?
She doesn't look happy.
I'll say, the nerve. Sending that letter, then running off to the gods know where.
Oh. I was expecting a slap.
Do you have any idea how worried we were?
I'm sorry. 'Twas remiss of me not to deliver the news in person. No, more than that. 'Twas I who...
Our daughter was disillusioned after Master Louisoix left her behind. The day the Scions called upon her was the happiest I'd seen her in years. She made her every choice of her own free will. No one could have ever forced her to do otherwise. Don't blame yourself for her death. Celebrate her life. You know that's what she'd want.
If there is one thing we resent you for, it was that we could not be there to mourn her with you. Reading the words you penned in that shaky hand, we must have cried as much for you as we did for her.
I'm sorry. I truly, truly am. I knew not what to say. Knew not how to express my feelings. The poems and platitudes of wiser men, musings on sadness and loss, studied and memorized, and meaningless in the moment.
Silly boy. We are all powerless before such grief. Even now, try as I might, the words escape me. But in our hearts, we know. We always know.
I remember when you were young, how the lads teased you for choosing the company of books over others. Our moon didn't take kindly to that. Be nice to Urianger, she'd shout, and give them a walloping. No matter how many times we scolded her.
So we offered a suggestion. Rather than starting fights, why don't you be the bridge between Urianger and the others? She had to mull it over for a while. Arms crossed, brow furrowed in intense thought. But from that day on, she never let you be alone. She'd drag you outside to play, pepper you with endless questions, read the same books you read, all to try and understand you that much better. I'm sure it was annoying and exhausting at the time, but she only ever had the best of intentions.
And look at you now, at the center of the crowd. The reason there even is a crowd, having brought these people together.
Yeah, that was him. Totally not me. Sure. Okay.
You have no idea how proud we are.
To see the boy, our daughter, trusted and believed in more than anyone, grow into the man she always knew he could be. I can see her in you too. Feel her. She walks with you wheresoever you go. So thank you, Urianger, for being who you are.
I think I can feel her too. The truth of her life. Not sorrow, but hope and love.
outsider. She was important to him, wasn't she?
Way to read the room, Living Away. Yes.
You could ask the man himself.
Oh, no. But watching this exchange reminds me how much I've yet to learn about your world. And its people.
You can live here your entire life and hardly learn a thing.
That's very true.
And that's why it's too soon for this to end.
Everyone leaving with their emotional support rabbits. See, and this is why I love stories with, you know, with tragedies. You know, I always say a story is only as good as its greatest tragedy. You know, those are stories that are so much better than, you know, mega happy endings where you bring back the dead and give them a second chance and all this other nonsense. Because there's so much more emotion and thought in it than just like, yay, everyone's happy. You know, it's like, what is that? It's like an empty platitude. Something like that felt more. You know what I mean? That's why I fear for the future of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Oh, Warren. Be assured that I am fine. I am full glad to see them too, after so very long. Glad still that it was in your company. As difficult as it was to accept their kindness, it would have been far harder had I faced them alone. Well, technically you did. I was over there. Thou hast my gratitude for lending courage to the Labyrinthos. Not disposed to rest on their laurels, several of our guests have elected to accompany my countrymen to their stations. Some few may still come hither seeking counsel, and so shall I remain to aid them as need be. If thou art needed elsewhere, do not let me detain thee. As a matter of fact, I was hoping you might check on Alice. Last I saw, she was struggling to carry an enormous pile of boxes out the west gate. I could go myself, but we both know whose help she is less like to scorn. Not to mention that, much to my misfortune, I can think of several other things I ought to be doing. Until later. You lazy shit. Boing. Ooh, Logisticon Rata. We've only got half of this damn circle? Sheesh. Alice, I hear you're doing a little too much. Jesus, woman! Slow your roll! What's in that box? That's squealing. Warren, what are you doing out here? No, I don't mind if you help with the boxes. That's far from the most exciting of tasks. Are you sure? Well, I appreciate the assistance. We need to get these to Aporia. Time is short, of course, but they're full of organic specimens and samples, so try not to be too rough with them. Alphina shall be waiting for us when we arrive. I'll see you there. Deliver the crates of samples. You'll have 3 minutes to complete the task. Should you fail, return to the start of the mission and begin knitting. Okay. Boxes! Warrior of Light, Warrior of Darkness, Adventurer, Champion of Eorzea, Box Carrier. Carrier of all the boxes. Of course, there'd be a fate right next to where I need to be. Fate's going on right now. No, don't. I don't want to be involved in this fate. Thank you. Going around. Don't touchy. No touchy. Stay away. Oh, you're helping with the crates. Wonderful. You could put that there with the others. You have my gratitude. But how did you come to be involved in this? Urianger was crying and we didn't want to watch it anymore. Then I suppose I have Thancred to thank as well. If you're wondering why we were tasked to bringing these boxes to Aporia to begin with, so was I. It turns out that this is the base of operations of sorts. Those with final say as to what is included in the ship's manifest can be found here. Father included, I suspect. That should be everything. Sorry, we carried one box and she carried 3? You carried all of that at once! Are you trying to injure yourself? Oh, hush. They're lighter than they look. And not everyone has your delicate arms. I suppose we should let someone know that we finished. Theopaldin is in the courtyard. We can report to him. Why don't you come along? You could get some credit for your assistance, at least. Considering where we are, we might be even learn something interesting. 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 Wait, what am I doing? There we go. And let's attune to another aetherite. There we go. Gods, it never ends, does it? What can I do for you? We brought samples from Sharlayan Hamlet, Series 110, and the crates are by the entrance. Ah, thank you. I had expected one of my colleagues, but we are dreadfully short-handed. Just a moment. You are Fortunal's children, are you not? Alphino and Alice at your service. You're well acquainted with Father, I take it? Quite. I've been friends with your parents since our days at the studium. I remember when you were yay high, waddling hither and thither. Clearly, it's been quite some time since we've met. It's good to see you again. Building your father's newlets, no less. You knew our parents when they were young. What were they like? Pray, spare no detail. I should like nothing more than to regale you. Alas, I am meant to be in charge here, and reams of paperwork are want for submission. We can help with that, in exchange for the sort of stories our parents would never willingly divulge, of course. Very well, then. There happen to be 3 sets of documents in need of delivery, so how about you each take one? Two. Wait right there! Oh, did I get mine? When do I get mine? 3, there we go. You will find a forum representative waiting to collect these near the southernmost structure. I hope I haven't kept you waiting too long. Never mind Alphino and Alice. I'm certain they will be back soon enough. Southernmost structure. Ugh, no, get off that. Better. When you say southernmost structure, you mean these structures? Oh, he does. Are you not one of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn? I thought you were meant to be working on the Etherburn. Shut up and take this paper. Don't be rude. Leopoldin's paperwork. I was beginning to worry he had misplaced his quill. I appreciate your help in seeing these documents to my hands at least. As for your other task, pray keep this between us, but I sincerely hope you Scions succeed. The Exodus is, without a doubt, the most monumental undertaking in the history of the Forum, and so we must be circumspect in all respects. Risk is a privilege we cannot afford ourselves. At its heart, however, Sharlayan has ever been a nation of the curious. It would be a tragedy indeed if we were the ones to stymie your pursuits of truth. I couldn't live here. I really couldn't. It would drive me insane. Not because of all the eggheads, but just because of the fucking arrogance that seems to come naturally to the people of this place.
Quick and efficient. I dare say you have a talent for this work. The twins' papers only needed to be delivered to elsewhere in the facility, so they should be returning any moment.
We return, with not a scrap of paperwork remaining on our persons, you will note.
You both have my thanks, and my apologies for sending you on an errand far below your ambitions. Why, even as a babe, you struggled out of your swaddling clothes and...
That is quite enough of that, thank you. It was compromising stories of our parents that we'd asked to hear, to reiterate.
Of course, of course. I've known your father for so long, I must have something. I must have something. Well, as you know, part of why the Lavalier name garners such respect in Sharlayan is your family's storied history. You too can trace your ancestry directly to those who came aboard Nyonkraf's Hope, a lineage few can claim. I never thought much of it myself. It's not as though our forebears founded our nation. They were simply there when it happened. Nevertheless, it has traditionally been a point of pride. 'Tis why Nyonkraf's pronouncement, quote, renounce the ways of war and pursue enlightenment through knowledge and reason, end quote, has ever been our family's creed. Until your grandfather's time, aye. Archon Louisois looked not to Nyonkraf's words, but his deeds. He asserted, in defiance of his peers, that choosing to save the great and the small from the rising tides was the true mark of our founder's virtue. Perhaps it was his expertise, his knowledge of ancient prophecy and the fall of civilizations, that led him to conclude that to eschew conflict at every turn was to consign mankind to his doom. There will ever be conflict, and calamity will follow. Thus, quote, to ignore the plight of those one might conceivably save is not wisdom, it is indolence, end quote. You remember his words well. Indeed, Archon Louisois lived by that personal creed, and used every means at his disposal to bring succor to those in need, Sharlayan and no. No one loved and admired your grandfather more than his son. Yet Fortunaud could not reconcile Louisois' deeds with the philosophy of their forebears and his peers, a philosophy in which he believed so fervently, yet made a pariah of his father. Fortunaud agonized over this contradiction for much of his life. God's father. A son may carry his father's blood, but his choices are his own to bear. Is it not always thus? Gods knows Fortunaud's cranky old... Gods know Fortunaud's a cranky old goat, so I'm sure you butt heads often enough. Yet even so, you must know that you are constantly in his thoughts. Every moment of every day. That is not an exaggeration in the slightest. I'm gonna call bullshit because, I mean, unless there's a really good reason for it, and that reason must be really, really good. To travel to Gridania to disown them in person. That doesn't sound like the father who keeps them in his heart and mind all the time. I'm sorry, I have to call bullshit, sir. Your mutton chop's not, being very much respected. I'm going to have to call bullshit on that. You should have seen him when you were born. Barely recognizable he was, with a kind of dumbfounded grin I'd not seen since he first took a fancy to your mother. He was practically skipping when he told me the news. Take my word for it, he loves you to an embarrassing degree. Yeah, right. But he is also frustratingly single-minded. Once he's decided that a given action is for the best, he will stay the course no matter who or what opposes him. A profoundly annoying habit when you're on the other end of it, as I'm sure you will agree.
You know, when he goes around just disowning his own kids because of it, you know. Yeah, that's a bit... annoying's a word for it. I'll say. Thank you for your insight. When next we meet our parents, I shall mention that we spoke. Try not to get me into too much trouble now. I need the forum on my side. Speaking of which, I ought to be getting back to work. I have to make sure those specimens you brought make it to their proper places, or the cranky old goat will have my hide. We can speak again later. Okie dokie. We can do that. I'm sure. That's fine. That's fine. It's fine. Hail, you three! Ah! Graha. Surely Kokol hasn't driven you out of the forge already. For better or for worse, no. However, he has set me a task that requires more than my single pair of hands. And here you are. I could use at least one of you, but I won't object to more. Unfortunately, Alice and I have prior commitments, and we have delayed too long as it is. What about you, Warren? Can you spare the time? For Graha, anything. Perfect. This shouldn't take long. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to end today here. We shall pick it up tomorrow. We shall see what Graha needs of us. I was kind of hoping for another dungeon, but I guess we ended the last episode with a dungeon, so they were going to space it out. Maybe a trial or something. But we did have that really cool fight where we got to control Alphino and Alice for a little while. That was really cool. So, yeah. So I'm going to end it here. And we're going to end this stream the way we do most of the streams. I mean, the past couple of them, I've been giving the shortened, abridged version. But we will end today the proper way with plug time. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages and everything in between, if you enjoyed what you saw here today, then please consider stopping over at my Patreon, patreon.com/featherhoof_gaming, where for just a couple bucks a month, not only can you help support the channel, help it grow, help me get better equipment for the studio and whatnot, but you get something back in return, from exclusive access to a Discord chat, early access to videos, exclusive patron-only unedited versions of all my videos, being a voice on multiplayer Saturdays, stuff like that. Give it a look if you have a chance. But if none of that catches your fancy, you could, of course, instead subscribe to this channel right here on Twitch, which instead will give you the ability to kill ads, because let's face it, who doesn't love killing ads? And it gives you access to the emoticons that were being spammed by Tyro before he left, and by Liza, and Liza. Also by Angel. Angel did it way back at the beginning of the stream. Also remember, if you're an Amazon Prime or Prime Gaming subscriber, you can subscribe to one channel every 30 days for free, so why not make it this one? Costs you nothing extra, kicks a little bit back to the channel, and you still get access to the emoticons being spammed by Liza. So, win-win. But if you have absolutely no money to spend, I understand. Money can be tight, I get that. But you can still support the channel for free. Absolutely nothing. First off, by sharing it. Letting people know the channel is here, letting them know what we do, help grow the community. Because the bigger the community, the more we can do with more people. And feedback. Feedback and constructive criticism helps out immensely. Keeps the channel growing, keeps it moving forward. More importantly, keeps it from moving backwards. And you can do so when this episode shows up on YouTube later, where in the comments section below, you can let me know what you liked, what you didn't like, things you'd like to see more of, less of, or just other games you'd like to see played on the channel. And that is my shtick. That is my spiel. I'm out of here for today. We will be back tomorrow with more Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker main story quest, because there's lots more to do. And you can continue to be a part of that and part of this community, as and get access to cool little emoticons that Ellie is showing off, and Ellie is showing off, and also Ellie is showing off for us all. But for now, I'm out. I'll catch you tomorrow. Until then, take care. Have yourselves a fantastic morning, afternoon, evening, or sleep, whichever one you're heading towards. And I will see you all next time. Yeah.